Welcome to another episode of the Executable Podcast. It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
I think about a year.
Just
we are back with me, Phil, and my good friend Jake. How's it going, Jake?
It's going good. I'm back.
We are hot off E3, and by hot off, I mean it was like a couple weeks ago.
It's hot off and cooled down for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So E3 happened. What'd you think?
I missed most of it. I was traveling.
Yeah, I watched it from afar because I do not live in California, and I did not pay that however much money it was to go there.
Your soul. I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Man, I heard those wait times were incredibly long.
Yeah. I didn't actually hear a lot about it. I just watched the conferences over the course of 2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah, this was the first time they opened up to the public. And from what I've heard, it was not that great for the public. Well, to be fair, I heard a mixed bag. I heard it was mostly a mixed bag. But I did hear that the wait times for some games were upwards in the 4 to 8 hour range.
Yeah, that's not
surprising. So from what a lot of people would say is they would be able to only play one game, and that is it.
And wait 4 to 8 hours for that.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, E3 happened, and we got lots of games to talk about.
Yeah.
But first, do you want to talk a little bit about what we've been kind of doing in the meantime, since those games are not really out yet?
Yeah. So, as people may remember from last year, this podcast, we talk about what we've been up to. Which is, in our case, not a lot. Let's see. I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda.
How are the faces? Are the faces better?
I keep helmets on all the time, so I don't know.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, I've just been talking to aliens and terraforming planets. And
have you beat that game yet?
No, I'm really not very far in. I took a long break from it because it's really disappointing, and also I moved out of my dorm, so I didn't really have a time to play it.
I got you. Did you hear about that news where they said they're kind of done with Mass Effect?
I mean, it's not surprising after this one. It seems like they were trying to set up a new setting for it, but it just it sucks compared to the old one.
Do you think they were really trying to go for a new trilogy?
I think possibly, or at least a new series. I think they might not have wanted Ryder to be the Shepard character for 3 games, but I think they wanted to set a new setting for it so they could do any they could make any game in that setting and be now you're Krogan, or now you're whoever.
I've only played Mass Effect 2, so correct me if I'm wrong. Was Shepard kind of a chosen one character, or was he just kind of
It kind of ended up that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how 3 ended up. I'm gonna say some spoilers here for Mass Effect 3. The ending,
all spoilers,
which people don't like anyways, and came out in 2012, I think. But when you meet the Star Child, who's if you haven't played it, it doesn't matter. If you have played it, it doesn't matter. When you meet the Star Child, he's well, you're the only one who made it this far, so you're obviously chosen.
So he's chosen one by nature of he's the one who did it all.
Yeah, and kind of he has things happen Mass Effect 2. He basically dies and gets rebuilt.
As you
at the
do.
Beginning. Yeah, it's cool. It was a really cool game. But he started out as kind of a regular person. He wasn't Anakin Skywalker. And Ryder's the same except lamer. Pretty much.
I think from what I know about Mass Effect Andromeda, Ryder is only important because he has something in his head.
Yeah, basically his dad was the Pathfinder. This is spoilers for the first 10 minutes of the game. His dad was the Pathfinder for the Andromeda Initiative, the whole fleet of ships that was going to the Andromeda galaxy.
Find new habitable planets.
Yeah, and so the Pathfinder sounds like they're just a scout, but actually they're the most important person. They basically are just a scout, but they're also in charge of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And when he dies, spoiler, in the beginning, he gives you the AI that he has in his head, or something like that.
So this is kind of the 100 situation.
A little bit. Spoiler for 100. Uh,
Just spoilers everywhere.
yeah. But he kind of circumvents the whole process of choosing a new Pathfinder because you're his kid, his son or daughter. Yeah.
Drama.
Although the people who were in line to be Pathfinder like don't give a shit. Like they're for like 5 minutes they're like, well,
No drama.
I don't like that, and then you're like, but work with me, and they're like, you got it, pal.
Great negotiating skills they have.
Yeah, that's kind of how all the dialogue is in the game. People are like, what? That's not something I like, and you're like, but what if you like it though? And they're like, you're right.
Isn't BioWare supposed to be known for their good dialogue?
Yeah.
Or
There's some good stuff and like there's some funny dialogue, but the majority of it is so like boilerplate, like standard, like perfectly cut. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just really generic.
like sci-fi, like generic sci-fi like
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah. And people like get over philosophical differences because they're like, well, what if you make this decision for me? And you're like, all right. And then you make the decision and they're like, I think you made the right call every time.
All right.
Yeah. It might get better later in the game. I don't know.
Writer could do no wrong. Anything else besides Mass Effect?
Let's see. We're playing Hearthstone. I played Dead Cells back when that was all the rage a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess segue. Like that's kind of what I've been playing. I kind of beat that game up until the new update they got in debate. This is something that kind of grinds my gears a little bit. This game is in early. Dead Cells is in early access for people who don't know. It's like a Metroidvania roguelike early access game. That's with roguelike mechanics. If you ever played Rogue Legacy, this is like right up your alley. But it's in early access. But they started to do like beta builds that you had to opt in for to get so they'll put an update out, but it doesn't go out to your client to your game until you opt into the beta. But the whole being in early access and then having like a separate layer of like beta on top of that, it's
kind of nice because say for example if you were really far in a run and you had like stopped there and you were going to pick it up later really far and like you made a lot of progress and then like they rolled out an update and you're just back at the beginning, like you'd be pretty pissed. It's different.
I get that.
I think it's a bit different than other early access games. A lot of them are like base building stuff, so you have like this awesome base and then they push out an update without knowing, like letting you save your progress, and it just wipes everything.
Well, my thing is like they put like one of the first things you see when you launch that game is like, hey, this is an early access, you might lose your stuff. So it's just like and to be fair, that the developer said he's like 80% done with that game and it's like feature complete pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's not like one of those crappy early access things where it's going to be in early access for the forever. But it's just weird. It's just kind of like a weird thing. It's like when he first started doing the whole beta before the real update, it's just kind of like, what's the point of early access at that point? But it's just like a minor grievance. That game is awesome. It is very, very awesome. Like I said, I kind of beat it. They only got 2 bosses in there so far. And I got to the second boss and beat him on my first try. So maybe that and the first boss is really difficult. Yeah. So maybe that second boss needs to be tuned a little bit better. That game is fun.
Yeah, I got past the first boss a couple times. It's the unfinished one, right?
The incomplete one or the unfinished one or something like that. I think the
incomplete one.
Yeah.
I got past.
He is a real motherfucker.
I don't know if I ever got to the second one. My best strategy was to get like really high level turret and like those like grubs you can get.
Yeah.
And you just keep throwing those at him and dodging his attacks, and they do all the damage.
I like to get the turrets, and they actually kind of just nerfed the turrets, but it still works on the boss. Because turrets now will only work if you're near them. So my previous strategy with the turrets in the levels was to just kind of throw them on a ledge that I didn't want to go on,
and just let them clear.
Let that work.
Yeah.
That doesn't quite work out so well anymore, but you could still do that on the boss. But I also am a big fan of the electric whip in that game.
Yeah.
Which is really good. But yeah, that first boss is a pain. And then I got to the second boss. And I got to the second boss only once, and I beat it first try. So it's like, I feel like I may have just been lucky, and that may have just been a good run. And I mean, it was a good run because I got to the second boss.
Yeah.
But man, that game is something, because I imagine, you know, at the time I beat that second boss, my character was pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's more after that, I can't imagine how far how far you can progress in a single run, you know, like as that game gets more content, because there's a lot of content in there already. There's like, you know, just off the top of my head, I think there's like 6 or 7 or 8 zones, like unique zones, maybe more.
I mean,
Maybe
before
like,
the first boss, there's like 5.
yeah,
I think 5 or 6.
There's 2 of them that are almost exactly the same. The toxic sewers, and then there's like
The old
something
sewers.
else. The old sewers.
And then there's like, there's a lot different. There's quite a few zones.
But yeah, there's quite a few zones. So, but my thing is like after if they add more after that second boss, it's like, man, you can, in a single run, you can kind of really power up your character.
Yeah.
And they're adding like a bunch of new items. I just saw the new update coming out, which the dev said they're kind of redoing the level structure. I think he said there's going to be a new zone. He showed a new weapon, which is like this kick thing that looks really cool.
Nice.
The thing I like about that game, especially compared to like Rogue's Legacy, which is a lot of people have been comparing this game to, is it just feels better. Rogue's Legacy kind of just like playing that game, it kind of just feels a little off. Like just,
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. The controls.
I did too. I did too.
The controls in Dead Cells are a lot tighter for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's, you know, in Rogue's Legacy, there was a couple times you would die and you would just be like, you know, you felt cheated because of the controls or like the way it plays. But Dead Cells, every time you die, except for a couple moments, there's like usually you kind of know why, and you kind of get a good like, oh, I messed up there. Like you kind of get a good feeling of like, that was my mistake.
Yeah. One thing I liked in Rogue Legacy though was you had that like manor that you built at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, like, you could invest your gold in permanent upgrades. I like that more than in Dead Cells. You just have like all this gold and it doesn't matter for most of the time.
Yeah, especially one of the things, and you know, again, this is all early access, so all the things we could be saying could be changed by the time this game actually comes out.
For sure.
But there's an upgrade, you know, in Dead Cells as compared to Rogue's Legacy, you don't upgrade with gold. And Dead Cells is kind of like Dark Souls, where you have, I'm using air quotes here, cells or souls, if you will, from enemies, and then at the end of every level, you put those into permanent upgrades for all the various weapons you can find in the world. One of the upgrades you can get is like you get to, like Rogue Legacy, you can retain more of your gold after you die.
Yep.
And the final max of that is like 85%, I think.
Yeah.
And I got that. And so gold is kind of like now meaningless to me. Like,
when you have a good run, you just have so much money.
Yeah, and once you get 85%, like you're just going to be like adding on more and more gold. So there's pretty much no time have I come up to in a recent run where I have been short on gold. It's like that never happens.
Yeah, because sometimes you have like those gates that you have to pay a certain amount of gold.
Yeah, and I always have gold for them at this point because I had that 85% upgrade and gold's not a problem anymore.
Yeah,
but I do like that the mechanic of upgrading the weapons. Because it's not like you kind of get to pick favorites, and you also get to, but you're not like guaranteed that favorite. Like you're not.
Yeah, you
like,
don't know if you're gonna get that weapon next run.
Yeah, and so but that also forces you to make like, okay, I should probably put some points into weapons that like I'm not so good like that like, you know, I don't like, because if I get those weapons, I want those to be strong too. Because you're never guaranteed to find your favorite weapon, and there's a lot of weapons and abilities in that game to find. And that's what I think is quite cool. When you first start a run, you know, they're all hanging off the ceiling, and as you find the blueprints and stuff, they fill into the little jars. I think that's cool.
That's a very cool feature. I like that a lot.
The art style of that game is definitely really good. It looks awesome. It has a look to it. It has a style. But besides Dead Cells, I recently beat The Witcher 3, which was a long time coming.
Yeah. 2 years.
I never got around to finishing it. Due to like a save corruptions and various other reasons. That game is like a huge time investment.
Yeah, I think you rebuilt your computer once during the time you started playing it.
So I've gotten like a whole new computer, I think, between when I first got that game and when I finished it. Yeah. I think now I have around a little over 100 hours in it. Yeah. Minus the 20 I initially spent when I first got it. So I spent like 80 hours on the playthrough of the campaign, and man, is that a great game! Like that is a good game.
That's almost exactly what I was at. I was at around 80 hours for my first playthrough.
Yeah, and I picked up the DLC. It was on sale for the GOG summer sale, so I picked up the expansion pass. I'm now starting the Heart of Stone DLC. And yeah, man, like that game it's also, I mean, everyone who's interested in The Witcher 3 has probably played it.
Yeah.
And probably beat it. And if you haven't, you probably should. But that game, so I can't really say anything that hasn't already been said. But yeah, that game is amazing. I got, I think we already talked about this privately, but I got the quote unquote good ending, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Spoilers if we talk about.
I'm not going to go into. I don't want to say what the ending is. But man, I will tell you that it is an emotional roller coaster.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, that game is awesome, and I'm glad it was one of those games that that I had on my list for a while. That man, I just want to beat that game. And now that I beat it, I am so happy. Like now it's like, and this all started because I beat Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you played that.
I still haven't, but I want to get it at some point and play.
Dude, it's so good, and especially good because like it definitely takes a lot of elements from The Witcher.
Okay.
But I haven't completed a game in a long time. Like I haven't completed like a story-driven, big AAA game in a long time. I just like I have like video game ADD. I get to like a good point in a game, and then I'm like, oh, let's go to the next one. Yeah. So I beat Horizon, and I was like, hey, beating games turns out to be fun. So I beat Horizon, and then I was like, I should go back to The Witcher and try that again. And so I beat Horizon, and now I beat The Witcher, and like having like that, it was like The Witcher was like this titan on my list of just like, man, I need to beat that game, but it's just so long, it's so perilous, and I'm so happy to have it done. So I'm pretty happy to go on to the DLC. Yeah. And then when I beat that DLC, I will be sad because that means I can't play that game anymore.
Yep.
I mean, I can, but like that means I don't have a reason to. But now I'm on this kick now where I'm going through like my video game catalog and like trying to find old games, not necessarily old games, but games that I've been meaning to finish. And I'm thinking now it's either going to be Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, or The Last of Us. I might go back to like a PlayStation game because, just to give me some variety.
Yeah, I've been doing the same type of thing, but I haven't really had as many games to complete. Like, I want to finish, what's that game? Mass Effect Andromeda and Final Fantasy 15. I want to get those like done with and wrapped up,
I tried going back to Final Fantasy 15 a couple months ago, and I turned on that game for a good old 15 minutes, realized I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I had no idea where I was going. I didn't know like where I was at in the story. Like,
yeah. Like,
and I kind of just was like, okay, this is going to be on the bottom of that.
Once you take some time off of that game and you come back, I'm like, what am I doing? Where am I? What is this?
Yeah, it's hard. And that's unfortunately that's like a symptom for a lot of like those
big games.
Those big games, but also games like that are open world and have a lot of systems. Like especially Final Fantasy 15.
It has a lot.
Yeah, it has a lot of different like various like mechanics and systems to it that you kind of have to like really remind yourself. Like when I restarted The Witcher 3, I started all over again.
Yeah.
Because like you just kind of have to. And that's probably what I'll do with Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Probably whatever, and I haven't even started The Last of Us, so I probably that won't be an issue there.
Yeah.
But besides The Witcher, Dead Cells, I've been playing a lot of Stellaris again. That game is so much fun. I have two games going right now. I have a synthetic game where I started off as humans and I turned them all into robots, which is awesome. They just recently put out they put out that Utopia expansion. I got that, and they added like they changed the way like the government and ethics and stuff works. So I made a human empire and I turned it into. I got to the point where they're all robots now. They're completely synthetic. And then I saw one of the devs post on Twitter. You can have a synthetic hive mind, which you can't right now. So I'm hoping in one of the next updates I can turn that synthetic empire into a hive mind. Like I feel like that's the next. In my because that's the thing. This is the thing I love about Stellaris. It is a sci-fi story generator. Like it is the most Like if you want to create your own sci-fi story, this is the game to play, because like you build your empire, like, and you customize your empire at the beginning, and at that point you build you're kind of creating a story in your head as you build.
Yeah.
But even as playing the game, stuff comes up, and like there's faction, like there's one of the things I love about that game is like there's could be one of the AI empires, and then like they could be like having slaves, and then the slaves could break away for independence, and then you could like support those slaves. And but it creates these narratives that doesn't happen on its own, like or that like no one can just write off. Like it's so much fun. So I'm really hoping that I can turn my synthetic empire into a hive mind, because I feel like that's the next step. Once they're all robots, they kind of have to at some point be like, we should just link up.
What if we're all one robot?
Yeah, we should all just link up. And then I just started a hive mind empire yesterday, and I was just starting out. I had my one planet, and I was about to colonize my second planet, and I was looking at all the planets I could do. And one of the things you can do as a hive mind is have what they call the devouring swarm ethic, which just means like you don't give a shit about anything. You're just like you just exist to consume.
Yeah.
So I was kind of role playing it as like I don't like I'm just here to expand and kill and eat. And I made the portrait like a little bug, like a little crawly beetle thing.
Yeah.
So I figured I was really about it. And then I saw when I was looking at my list of planets that I can colonize, there was like a Gaia world that had like I think the max tiles. There's tiles in that game. You want a good planet with a lot of tiles.
Yeah.
And it had like a planet modifier on it that said Fallen Empire's Holy Land or something like that. And it said, hey, if you colonize this, they're going to be pissed. And so I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm a hive mind. I'm just here to consume and everything. So I colonized that planet, and within like within half an hour, the Fallen Empire like appears. They communicate with me, and then within like 5 minutes of that, they declare war on me. And then within 2 minutes of that, and I always make the games. Pro tip: if you're a beginner Stellaris player, you can restrict the way the other player, the AI and stuff, travels. So there's like hyperlanes, there's like warp drives, and then there's a third one. I like to do hyperlanes because it adds an extra layer of strategy, because then there's only certain certain places you can travel through. Like you can't just go from any star to the next star. You have to go through the lanes.
Yeah.
So you can when you start the game, you can restrict all the travel types. But I guess the Fallen Empires don't give a damn. So when the Fallen Empire appeared, they were like an entirely separate side of the galaxy from me. So I was like, oh, it's fine. Like I'll be fine. No, I'm not fine, because within like seconds of them declaring war, like every single like star system that I had a planet in, a massive fleet just appeared and killed me almost instantly.
Man, that is awful.
It was. It turns out you shouldn't colonize on ancient, powerful empires' holy lands. They tend to not like that.
The thing I would think though is if it's a fallen empire, I wouldn't have thought they'd be very strong. But
I think
played
like
Stellaris. I
think in Stellaris terms, like when they say fallen empire, it's like they kind of gotten to like the point where there is no more like I guess you can say expansion. Like there's they've researched all the technologies, and they gotten all the power. Like they kind of just are settled, and they're ancient. I don't know why Stellaris necessarily calls them fallen empires.
Yeah,
it's not like they're not
sound like they were
decrepit.
defeated.
Yeah, they're not like decrepit or anything. But there is in my synthetic game. This is kind of spoilers, I guess. There was this one fallen empire who they were relatively small, and it came and from seemingly harmless. But then I was just playing, and this is like my synthetic game is like pretty far along now.
Yeah.
And it came out like a random thing appeared, and it was like, oh, they're awakened now.
Oh.
And they have like ring worlds, and they apparently, it said something like they have been probing all their technology and stuff, and like now they're awakened, and nothing has happened yet, but I am definitely paying more attention to whatever they're going to do.
That sounds worrying. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the cool things about Stellaris is there's all sorts of crazy things can happen. I know one of the crises in that game is like an advanced AI. Like there's an AI rebellion crisis that can happen.
Okay.
There's all sorts of crazy things. But I'm going to give the Hive Mind another go, and this time not colonize other Empire's Holy Land unless I have the guns to back it up.
Yeah. Unless you've already consumed and devoured much of the galaxy.
Yeah. But man, that game is continues to be like it's kind of like my new Civilization. I didn't really like Civilization 6. But as a game,
did you?
I played Civilization 6. The thing I didn't really like about it, and this is kind of just my personal beef, is it's really fucking hard. Hard as hell. It is difficult. And I have yet to get like a good Empire or Civilization going in Civ 6. So I got Stellaris a few months back, and that's kind of my new, like, I just want to listen to a podcast or watch some Netflix and just like play. It's that game, it's that kind of game where you're like, I'm just going to play for a couple more minutes, and then it turns into 2 a.m.
Yeah, I've only played it, I think, once or twice, but literally I started at like 11, I played till 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's intense. But that's about it for me. I mean, non-video game wise, I've been playing a lot of poker recently, but that's technically not video games, but still one of the best games in my opinion. Let's get into this E3 stuff.
All right.
What you think of like? Let's come out of the gate and say, like, what was your favorite conference? Like, what was your favorite conference?
My favorite conference? Let's see.
Like, not even looking at the games, or like just like what was the conference you most enjoyed watching?
Well, I thought Bethesda had a funny, like, with their Bethesda Land thing.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that was all right. But Microsoft's was pretty exciting. Sony,
they had a lot of games
that I liked.
Well, Microsoft had a lot of games too.
Yeah, they did.
I think mine was maybe Microsoft, maybe Sony, probably either Microsoft or Sony, maybe EA because of Battlefront and
that's true,
and some of that other stuff.
Oh, wait, was that EA?
EA put the teaser out there, and they were like, "You'll see more at Microsoft."
That's right.
Yeah.
Because that's the one I saw like almost live. Like the same day, I was like, "What is it, BioWare? What's this new thing?"
One of the things I didn't really like though is like a lot of the conferences like are now just like videos. Like they're just some dude who like they're just like trailer after trailer after trailer, and sometimes someone will come out and talk about it. Sometimes
they have
not.
The main host who's like, and now to introduce the next trailer, somebody who worked on it.
And now I'm going to hit play on this YouTube video.
Yeah. They're like I was gonna say they're like electronic. Like DJ, they're just like
I mean,
bad
that's kind of like what it is. Like
not a good
that's
one.
like but completely legitimate. That's what it feels like, and it's both good and bad because like sometimes those conferences when sometimes those people come out, it can get a little cringy sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
But sometimes you will see the game and you're like, I want to know more about that, and then they just show another trailer to another game.
And then they're like, I hope you're ready for this independent platformer. Like, well, all right.
But yeah, there was a lot of good games shown. I guess we'll go down this handy list we have here, starting with EA. What you think? What was some standouts for you from EA?
So the Anthem teaser is probably the main thing, like where I was on my phone in Georgia, like, what is this? I need to know more. That was very cool.
So let's dive into Anthem real quick, because this is we're both pretty excited about this, and this is probably one of the bigger takeaways from E3, I think. For me,
it's maybe the biggest one, like the most unexpected, because the other big ones are stuff that I knew was coming. For sure. And I think that's more of an E3 trend, is actually like we're kind of most of the big things we kind of know about a lot beforehand. Like, so there's not a lot of surprise. Yeah, we've known the release dates, we've known they were coming, we've known the features they were announced months ago. We know Dev is working on X game of like Y type. Like we know stuff like that. But this was out of nowhere. Anthem was a good surprise. I had no idea BioWare was working on a new IP. I thought BioWare would be doing Mass Effect DLC or working on a new I was praying for a new Dragon Age game.
I know a lot of people were hoping for a new Dragon Age, but I never got into Dragon Age. No offense, but I'm pretty I'm pretty excited for Anthem. But I would say I'm cautiously excited because to me it just seems like, and this is like my cynical side. This just seems like BioWare does Destiny.
Yeah, and like so totally I feel the same way. The armor that they showed literally just looks like when the guy was running in his armor, it looks like the back of a Mass Effect character. Like no different to me.
Hey, but when that main character like dove out of the water and then like came back up and it was all like Iron Man style, that was
but
I've never played Destiny, but I've seen I've seen a lot of gameplay of Destiny. I ain't seen that in Destiny.
You still haven't played Destiny?
I played like the first 10 minutes at someone's house before.
Oh, okay.
And was like, yep, this looks exactly like everyone told me about. And
yeah. Well, I have an extra 360 copy if you if you want to play.
Let me dust that thing off. But yeah, Anthem, like it looks very like that gameplay stuff they showed looked gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks cool. The walking through the town stuff, I mean, obviously it looked pre-rendered. I don't expect the game to actually look like that.
Smart.
If it does look like that, though, that'd be crazy. I don't know what it would run on, but it'd be crazy.
An Xbox One XXX.
An Xbox One XXX. That's right.
That's for later in the show.
Yeah. But no, Anthem. So, I mean, the story sounds Destiny-ish. They're like humanity's like scavengers. They're protected by a wall, which is literally the first story tidbits they gave us for Destiny were the same thing, except they're like it's a walled city.
Well, and then Destiny was like, story, am I right?
Yeah, well then Destiny, they gave us those tidbits a couple years early, and then spent a year and a half or whatever writing their story, threw the whole thing away, and then tried to put together a story in like 6 months or something like that.
I think it was way less than that, but
yeah, it didn't turn out good. It turned,
but BioWare, BioWare is known for, or mostly known for their good writing and stuff like that.
I'd say primarily they're known for story.
The thing that kind of worries me a bit is, besides the whole this is BioWare does Destiny, is you can say all you want, but Destiny and Anthem are MMOs on some aspect. They are games that are primarily that are pretty much 100% online, and that you're going to be or you're supposed to be playing with other people.
You'll at least encounter other people, even if you don't want to play with them. Yeah.
And BioWare's MMO history is a little iffy.
Star Wars. I think you mean rock solid. I think you mean the greatest of all time.
Well,
Star Wars was good.
It was good, but like as far as an MMO goes, no. Like,
I mean, it was a great Star Wars colored WoW clone. It was really fun.
But it like most people will tell you now, if you go looking to play Star Wars, they're like, it might as well just be a single player game, and you can play that entire.
It should be.
But that's the thing. Like they kind of made an MMO not an MMO, and that's where looking at Anthem, this is supposed to be a multiplayer focused game
for me,
where it's like
Go ahead. Sorry.
But that's where it's just like that's where I get the cautiousness from. Like that's where I'm just like, BioWare is awesome. It's definitely known for their great like stories, and single player stuff.
Yeah.
It's where it becomes like where the multiplayer aspects come in. That's where I'm going to be like, okay, what's like, and how are you going to go about that?
Yeah. So a couple things. Like also recently, BioWare's been more known for, I think, disappointing people in the last few years.
For sure.
Definitely with Andromeda. I don't know about Inquisition because it got very good reviews. A lot of people I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the original, but
what was the last thing they put out before Andromeda? Was it Inquisition?
It was Inquisition, yeah.
Really?
And Andromeda was basically Inquisition for Mass Effect.
But when did Inquisition come out?
2014, 2015.
Jeez, so it was like 2 years between Inquisition and Andromeda.
I think so. But Inquisition
Yes.
had expansions for the following
Yeah,
year.
yeah, they had DLC and stuff.
Yeah. I believe Inquisition came out, I remember it was the fall before The Witcher, because I was able to be like, Inquisition's my RPG of the year for that year, and then The Witcher's my RPG of the year for the next year.
So
So maybe
so
it was,
now
it was 2014 or
BioWare
2015, yeah.
so now BioWare has Dragon Age, which they're probably working on another Dragon Age.
I hope. Yeah.
Mass Effect, which they've come out and said as much that they're not really working on that anymore.
Yeah.
And now Anthem and someone in a basement is working on Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a big basement. Oh yeah,
You'd hope.
that brings me to the other thing with BioWare making MMOs is like Star Wars started off very much as an MMO. Like all the character classes were distinct; they were all different, and even story-wise, they're all different. Like you were going to the same places, but you had different things to do.
Yeah,
With
but the thing is like, to me as an MMO, it didn't do anything. I'm not going to say it failed, but it didn't do anything exciting. It was.
I thought guild flagships were really cool. We never got one, but I was like, that's awesome.
But did that come out on launch? That wasn't there on launch, right?
It was there before other player housing was. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but to me, like that game had problems like a lot of MMOs do, like with no end game. Like the end game in that was barely there. Like that.
For sure.
The primary part of Star Wars was the story, and playing your class, like your class story. But that's not where you go. Like that's not what you go to for an MMO. Yeah. So it's just like, so my concern with Anthem is just like, where are you going to, we're not like, how are you going to do the MMO stuff? Like, how are you going to do the multiplayer stuff? Like, what are you going to do to keep content there, to keep players, like to keep and retain players, to add, like to make sure that like once you, like I'm only going to assume there's going to be like leveling a character, and I'm only going to assume that there's going to be a max level. But like, what are you going to do when I max out a character? Like what's going to keep me playing Anthem? That's my concern. Is like,
my imagination says it would be the same as every other MMO, where it's like there'll be some
raids
and
stuff.
You'll have dungeons or flashpoints to do with your friends. Then you have bigger ones, so you have raids, and then they just kind of put those out.
But see, like
that for a while.
That answer is just like, okay, that's not.
Yeah, that makes it not exciting for me.
Yeah, that's like, all right, I'll keep playing Destiny, or I'll keep playing my MMO choice. Like I'll keep. Yeah. Like I don't need that. Or I will play Anthem until I max out a character. Tried it, and then when there's nothing for me to do, I'll put it away.
And again, though, with the new model of games like Destiny, and I assume Anthem will have the same type of business model where it's you just buy it and you don't have to subscribe, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. And see, what's interesting is I've read that Destiny has come out, Bungie has come out and said like they don't intend people to play Destiny 100% of the time. They intend for them to play it, catch up with the content, do some of the new content, and then put it down.
Yeah, they want people to buy the game, they get their money, people play it, have fun, buy the DLC, they get their money again, and then keep working on it if they want.
Yeah, and that, I think that is a good, respectable way to look at it. And
as long as there's a decent amount for your money.
Yeah, as long as the content is good and there's a decent amount there for the money you pay. But I question, especially with EA backing Anthem, I question if BioWare and EA are going to look at Anthem the same way.
Yeah.
And again, I just like EA and BioWare, and mainly just EA. It's the long run, and EA has come out, and the same way Bungie did with Destiny, they have come out and said this is a 10-year game. Like they have 10 years, whether it be like really? Yes, which is just terrible. Like
I remember Star Wars said that, and
it's. Yeah. Just like, no, don't say that. Like even if you do have a 10-year plan for your IP, don't say that. Like don't come out with and say that. That's just dumb. Like that's
you're setting yourself up to not meet that.
Yeah, you see how well it worked out for Bungie.
Nobody does.
Like you see how well it worked out for them, and it didn't do so great.
Yeah.
So it's just like I am very much intrigued by this game, and I can't wait to see more of it. But I am very much just like
I'm skeptical.
Yeah. Here's a question: do you think there's going to be a BioWare conversation wheel?
I don't know. I kind of want there to be one because that's the thing I like most. That's not the thing I like most about BioWare games, but compared to other games, I like to have like the multiple choices. I like to be able to, oh, this on the left is like find out more, on the right is continue forward. Like
Yeah.
And we always said like with Star Wars, the best thing about that game was the story stuff, the conversations, the cutscenes.
Yeah. But like again though, like while that's awesome, Star Wars should have just been a single game.
Yeah, but if you combine that though with really fun gameplay and stuff that actually requires other people, I think that's
that theoretically would be awesome. It's the execution that is very much.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that game looks very awesome, and like the suits in that game remind me of like the best Iron Man simulator ever.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to it.
They're called javelins, right? Those are the suits.
I think so.
Something like that.
Who cares what they're called? I just think they're awesome. I just think they're dope.
Yeah.
I think so moving on from that was kind of a long one, but I think that was one of the biggest things to come out of E3.
For me, probably one of the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah. Battlefront 2. What you think about that? Like that's probably it didn't necessarily come out at E3. We all knew that was coming, but like we saw a lot of it at E3.
That's probably the game I'm most like hyped for, and like literally, I saw the gameplay and the trailer, and I was like, I'm gonna pre-order it. I haven't done it yet, but
I'm definitely gonna wait again for a beta.
Probably
because I remember like when I saw that trailer, I was very much the same of like, yeah, that thing looks awesome. And then after thinking about it for a little bit, I was like, man, I had these same feelings when I first saw Star Wars Battlefront 1.
It was different for me with Battlefront 1 because I think right away we knew, or once they said like there's no single player campaign, there's no
that's the thing that separates this from 1.
Yeah, well, that's one of the big things for me, and like more space combat stuff. Like, that's kind of makes it a more complete Battlefront to me.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially, I'm really interested in that campaign, and like I might get it for that alone.
Yes. And the woman who is playing that character, I cannot remember her name at this time.
I don't know it. Yeah.
Terrible. Sorry. But she was on Giant Bomb at Night, one of their Giant Bomb's after shows or late night shows after E3, and she talked a lot about being part of the campaign and everything, and how she like auditioned for it, and she it's super excited for it, which only made me think like, yeah, this campaign is probably going to be really awesome. And especially knowing that there is a diehard fan behind it. Playing the main character, and that it's also cool that it's from the Empire's perspective, which you don't really see a lot.
Yeah, that's something I'm really excited for, and also the time period it fills in right after like the end of 6, but in like the 30 years.
But isn't it stretching from the original trilogy to the new trilogy?
I think
isn't
so,
it?
Yeah. Well, it fills in that timeline. I don't think the campaign is like a 60-year campaign. I think it's a shorter campaign, but in that time.
Yeah.
But I looked up the actress's name is Janina Gavankar.
Yeah, I remember it being hard.
I definitely am saying that poorly.
I remember that being hard pronounced.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm a little worried about though is like that. Again, that gameplay looks really awesome, and that game looks awesome because that engine that it's running on is amazing.
Yeah.
But so did Star Wars Battlefront 1. I'm just really hoping, as far as the multiplayer goes, it's like there's more there. I think they said they're getting rid of the power-up stuff.
I think there will be more because it's 3 eras now, which is I wanted from the original Battlefront. I wanted 2 eras, and we got 1. But having 3 is like over the top. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It will definitely. It's definitely something that I will have to play before I make a final decision on it.
Yeah.
I especially more we talk about it now, like that campaign is definitely something that's really interesting, and I might just get it for that alone.
Yeah, because I just want to know what happens in that time.
Yeah, and I think it's canon, right? I'm pretty sure they've said it's canon.
All the new Star Wars games that EA is doing, I believe, are canon. I mean, obviously not like Darth Maul fighting Rey with a bunch of clone troopers, like, but like the story stuff is canon.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by that, but again, it's something that like I was very much excited for Battlefront 1, but once playing it, I was just like, man, there's not $60 worth of game here.
Yeah.
Especially in that since that was a multiplayer only game, but like there was no, like, there really didn't seem like there was a lot of progression.
Yeah, it was a really good looking game, but
for
progression
sure.
wise, not a lot. Gameplay wise, it was fun, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I want to play this forever. It
wasn't
Black
like
Ops 3 fun for me. Like,
it wasn't like I want to pay $60 to keep playing this for a while. Like, no.
I couldn't see myself putting 100+ hours into a game.
No.
Like maybe 20, 30.
And then I think the other game we have here from EA is A Way Out, which was that game that was developed by the Brothers developer.
The team who made Brothers.
Yeah, which I that's also one of those games that's on my list to play and beat. I have it sitting just waiting. But that game has gotten like numerous like accolades.
I think Total Biscuit said it was like
one of his favorite games.
All time, something like that.
Yeah. And then this seems like the natural progression from that game. Like that game was like, you're playing two characters on one controller with the one, each joystick playing the left and the right character. But this is like, a mandatory co-op game, which sounds scary at first, but I think like
I also like that it's kind of asynchronous. Like it's mandatory co-op, but you're not always in the same room at the same time. Like, you're doing different things.
Yeah, and it has like a dynamic like split screen thing going on too. Which is, even if we're playing online, it's still like that because it's a very cinematic. It looks like a very cinematic experience. And from what I've heard from some people who were able to play it at the show, it's not much of an action game. It's more like a adventure co-op game.
Okay.
Which it's like I don't really want like a crazy action game out of a game like that. Like, I like, especially when it starts out like in a prison. I think it'd be awesome. Like to me, it'd be awesome if that whole game took place in a prison and the whole thing was to escape together. But
it looks like you do get, watching the trailer, it seems like you do get out.
I bet that like you're only in the prison. I bet for only like the first hour, maybe even less than that.
I hope it's the majority.
I wish that to me would be making a perfect game. If it was just you and your buddy having to break out of prison, that would be the bomb.
Yeah.
But like even still, like the whole like there's that one scene in the trailer where they're back to back, like inching the way up like a shaft or something.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like it seems like a game that most people would be, like most like publishers would be scared to make. Yeah. Because of the forced co-op, but this seems like because it's forced co-op, it will be able to do things that normal games can't. Yeah. And I can't wait to play it. Like I really can't. Like that's something that's one of those. It's a game that like breathes new life into games. Like it's something like that came totally out of left field, and that it looks really good, and it just seems really interesting the way it plays out. Watching that trailer.
Yeah, that was a game where I was like skimming through the conferences and it wasn't exciting at first, but once I realized that like you have to play with somebody else, like that thing where you're back to back. If you were doing that with an AI, like nobody would care.
Yeah, and it would be like
time it right, like
and it just wouldn't be as interesting. It just wouldn't what was that game that Ubisoft put out last year? Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands or something.
Yeah.
Which was 4-player co-op, but like when you played the single player, you just had 3 AI buddies. It's just dumb. Like having
a lot of games do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, having a co-op game where you just can play single player and have the rest be AI, it's just dumb. Like it either ends up being the AI is way too strong and they barrel through everything, or the AI is like way too dumb and it's just frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, like Mass Effect, you play with AI because it's not multiplayer, except for the multiplayer. But your AI companions are like pretty dumb and they don't really do a lot.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, it's the opposite of like Dragon Age Origins, where it was like every character is like the same level of strength, pretty much.
This is definitely a game where like it caught me by surprise, and I'm very much interested in just to see it, like just to see how this guy made this game and like how it plays out.
I'm interested in it.
It's something like it's good to see experimentation in the industry.
Yeah, because a lot of games are just the same as everything else. Like Anthem could be the same as Destiny. We don't.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like people are, and we just described Anthem as BioWare does Destiny, and that's that's always going to happen in any sort of industry, like in music and movies and video games. That's always going to happen. But no matter what, it's good to see experimentation and people taking a chance on something, especially EA. Like I wouldn't have guessed EA to be the one to publish this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you have infinite money, you might as well. Like
yeah.
But yeah, there's no real way to describe a way out in those terms. Like, I guess you could say the Brothers developer does Prison Break, but you can't say they do a different type of game because nobody's done it.
Yeah. And it'll be really cool to see, and I hope it does well. I'm a little worried about the whole mandatory co-op thing. I just hope people will look past that and realize that that's that's the strength, not the weakness.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably play it. It looks really cool.
Oh, for sure. I will probably definitely play it with you at least.
Yeah.
I know someone in here will probably play it with me on the couch. I think that guy in the conference said it's a mandatory couch game, something like that.
Oh, if it's a mandatory couch game, then I don't know. Maybe
ship,
play with my girlfriends.
Ship my couch over into cyberspace.
Upload my couch. Yeah.
Moving on, we got the Microsoft conference. So what you think? Before we get into the Scorpio or the One X or anything, let's talk a little bit about Microsoft in general here, because I mean, I guess this will incorporate the One X, because my biggest takeaway from Microsoft is why should I bother with Microsoft? Because they got that program. I can't remember what it's called. Xbox Play Anywhere, I think, where you can get an Xbox game, and it will be on both your computer and your Xbox as long as you have Windows 10.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I love that program.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
I think it's great, and I don't want Microsoft to think that's a bad idea, but ever since they put that idea, I have literally zero reason to buy an Xbox.
Yeah. You don't really, because there's not. I don't know of any games that are now Xbox exclusive.
There is none, as far as I'm aware. I think I know for sure all first-party Xbox games are, I'm like 99% sure, are Xbox Play Anywhere. Where even Halo, I think they even said Halo 6. Are we on 6 now? Whatever the new Halo game is, on Play Anywhere.
They're actually doing Halo Reach 2, Halo ODST 2. It's and that's the thing that makes this whole One X thing even more kind of confusing, especially at that price point. Man, $499, $500 is asking for something. Like it's might as well be an arm and a leg. If it is, like, it probably will be more powerful than the PS4 Pro, right?
Oh, for sure.
But the problem is you can't play PS4 exclusive games on it, which are the only exclusive games at this point. If you have a PC, if you don't have a gaming PC, that's a good thing for you to get, probably.
I mean, I get it. I can get,
because you can't build a 4K gaming PC for $500.
There was a really good article, I think, on like PC Gamer or some PC-based website where they tried to build a PC equivalent to the Xbox One X, and you can't. Not for the price point at the very least. So that's like for in an echo chamber, or on its own, the One X is a very awesome device. And like, especially like watching the conference, like, man, pushing 4K at 60. I'm pretty sure you can watch our E3 thing last year where I was like saying there's no way they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I am surprised that they're able to do that, and it definitely shows that they are serious about it. They even got that vapor chamber or something.
Yeah.
With it, the One X, it vapes. It truly is a millennial. It vapes.
Yeah, it has fidget spinners on the sides.
That's how it cools.
Everybody.
No, all your games now are on fidget spinners. You put the fidget spinner in.
It clicks into the middle, and you just spin the bottom. But what was I gonna say? Let's see. The name. I think calling it 1X and calling the not 1X version 1S is stupid.
Typing it out when we were preparing our notes here. When I typed it out, I was like, man, that looks like some cheesy Xbox gamer tag shit.
Well, it's not only that. I don't think calling it the 1X is bad on its own, but when you have the regular version called the 1S, which sounds almost identical to 1X, 1S, 1X. If some grandma is going to buy her grandson a console,
for sure,
and he's like, I want the 1X, and she goes to the store and she's like, he wants the Xbox. The S? What's the cheaper one?
The
X.
Then the salesperson's gonna go, oh, he probably wants the 1X, or the 1X. It's $499. There's also the 1S, which is like I think $249 now.
And she'll be like, what's
and then the grandma is like, oh no, the grandma will be like, yeah, I think he wants the 1S for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, even if she asks what's the difference, which a lot of grandmas might not. A good grandma, I guess, would. But yeah, like a lot of people in that generation aren't going to know. They're not going to be like, oh, it does 4K at 60, say.
And what 4K at 60? What is that?
Yeah. What? On the television?
on the TV?
Yeah. What are those fidget spinners what are those spinny things on the sides?
But that's the other thing. Yeah. It's like, they're pushing 4K on this. So like that's pretty much the biggest thing to take away from this is like it's pushing 4K 60.
Yeah.
Not everyone has a 4K TV. Those things are expensive.
That's going to be the other $600.
I think that's what Phil Spencer also was on one of Giant Bomb's late night shows after E3, and he clarified some things and was like, they're not aiming to sell majority 1Xs. They're still happy to sell majority of 1Ss. And even Sony has come out and said that there's only like 40%, or not, I think even less than that, like 30 to 40% of PlayStation sales are pros. Majority are still the Slim, which makes sense.
That's not surprising. Yeah, it's cheaper. You can play the same games for cheaper.
Yeah.
Most people don't care.
And most people don't have a 4K TV. The only reason I got a Pro was because I didn't have a PlayStation at all. And it was like I got it on sale, and so like
it was about the price of a regular. Right?
Yeah, and so like to me as an entry to the console, like that was a good point to me. And also I'm someone who likes to future proof.
It's gonna be more acceptable quality for longer than a regular PS4.
Yeah, and especially someone like who's normally playing on like a high-powered gaming PC, having a beefy console is something that's right up my alley.
Yeah, which the Xbox One X would be, except you can play all that on your gaming PC.
Yes, but I think they're looking at it like this: like if you got a 4K TV, you probably have a lot of money, and if you have a 4K TV, you probably don't have a lot of 4K stuff to do on it. Yeah. And so if you want to go out and get a console that will guaranteed 4K 60, and it's not even like upscaling 4K, which is what the Pro does a lot, is just upscales. Yeah. It's native 4K for a majority of their games,
which is sick.
Which is awesome. That's awesome. I think they're really relying on that, on those people who already have 4K TVs and have the money to shell out for this 1X. But
I think the people it appeals to is either people who don't have a gaming PC but do have a 4K TV,
and you will hear. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, or people who don't want to leave the living room, who don't want to go to their 4K computer monitor. They want to sit on the couch and play on their 4K TV.
And a lot of PC people will be like, oh well, you can make making a PC isn't hard and it's not that expensive. Console gamers don't care. They really don't.
Yeah, you could buy one thing instead of
like
10
that's what they want.
That's
what they want. They want to give $400-$500, whatever it is, get a box, and the box just works.
Yeah.
And that's I think You know,
there's nothing wrong with that either.
There isn't. There is nothing wrong with that. And I think, you know, there's something to be said about people who, like, you know, I think when Sony was first advertising the Pro, it was like, oh, this is for the pro gamer. This is for the people, the enthusiasts. And, you know, a lot of PC people would be like, well, that's just PC people. It's not. Yeah. There is people out there who have like a PS4 or an Xbox One S or whatever, the regular, and want a little bit more. They want to be that enthusiast person without going the extra step of building the PC, you know?
Yeah, they want it to look better, but they want to still be able to play it on their couch.
And trust me, I am not unhappy with my Pro purchase at all. It's, like, I was a little disappointed with Sony. You know, this is a little jumping ahead a little bit, but with the way Sony, I was kind of hoping with the Sony conference they would kind of justify my Pro purchase more, and they really didn't. But I'm not terribly hurt by it, because that thing still does really well. Like, it still does 1080p 60 pretty well.
All you need until you get a 4K TV.
Yeah, which is all I want. I don't have a 4K TV. I'm probably not going to get one for a while. I just want the games I have on there to run decently. And I'll tell you what, playing Horizon Zero Dawn on a PS4 Pro at 1080p 60, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think it's, but it's the price point that really just kind of like, I think if anything will hurt them, because when you're looking at the Pro versus the One X, the Pro is $400.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it like, well, if I'm going to get the you know, whatever console I'm going to,
the best PlayStation or the best Xbox, the best PlayStation's cheaper.
Yeah. And to be fair, Sony still, in my opinion, has the better exclusives.
They have the only exclusives if you have a PC. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as from a strictly console gamer's perspective.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, they have for Xbox. It's basically, what do I want? Halo. Like,
yeah.
Other than that,
if I love Terry Crews, Crackdown.
Yeah. And I like Terry Crews, but
I like Terry Crews as much as the next guy, but I'm not spending $500 to play Crackdown.
Play Crackdown 3
just for Terry Crews.
Yeah.
So this is what I think it's really interesting takeaway. It's just like with these Pro consoles is like, what does the console cycle look like now? Like, what's the next thing after this? Are we going to become like phones? Like, is it going to be like, you know, the PS4 or PS5, and it'll play all your PS4 games, and then there's a PS5 Pro, and the next Xbox One is the Xbox XX and the Xbox SS. I don't know. It's interesting to see where consoles go from here.
Yeah, because they could, if it's not like a major thing where like the games won't run on the older firmware or whatever, like, or the older hardware, like you couldn't pop an Xbox One game into an Xbox 360 because it's a totally different like architecture inside of it. Well, somewhat, because you can play a 360 on the Xbox One.
Well, that's the other thing that came out of this. Now they're doing original Xbox backwards compat, like original. OG Xbox.
Wait, that you can put the games in?
Yes, like same way you can do with the 360. I'm pretty sure they said you can pop an Xbox disc in there, and it will play.
That's sick.
Just really awesome.
Well, yeah, but basically, like, as long as the older versions can still play the games, there's no need for them to be like, we're doing the Xbox 2. Like, they can just do the Xbox One X Plus in a couple years. Like, well,
that's the thing. Like, are we just going to get to where there's just incremental hardware bumps, like where
it feels like it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. And other people have speculated this too. And I'm not so sure if Sony's going to go this route. They might just because they might be forced to. But it definitely seems like, and Microsoft definitely hasn't come out and said this because it would hurt their console sales. But it definitely seems like the Xbox is becoming more of a platform and less of a console.
Yeah.
Because if you play on Windows 10, it's all branded Xbox. Like, you open the Xbox app. And it all just, like, especially with their Play Anywhere stuff, it all just seems like, and Microsoft is smart to do it because they have Windows. Like, they already have that install base with Windows.
They have a bunch of people with hardware that want to play their games.
That could play their games. And they have the OS.
Yeah.
So it definitely, to me, it seems like that's the natural step as to where The consoles tend to be more like PCs, and like I think consoles will be what Steam boxes want it to be.
Yeah.
And you will just kind of pick the platform you want to be on. Like you'll like. And I don't really know where Sony's going to go with this because they don't have Windows too.
But what they do have is PlayStation Now, right? They have PlayStation Now on PCs.
Well, they have. I don't know what they call it, but I think PlayStation Now is something different. But you can play PlayStation games on your PC, but you need the PlayStation. Because all that does is just stream the video that the PlayStation Now. It streams it over to your internet to your computer. And I actually like it, but it's not the best because you need a high high bandwidth.
Basically, I just looked it up for the PlayStation Now. So they have the PlayStation like remote play that you just play it from your PlayStation. It streams it to your PC. But they also have PlayStation Now on PC, which lets you play. It looks like right now it's just PS3 games, but you can play them directly on your desktop or laptop. But it is like a subscription thing.
But do you need a PlayStation for that? That's always what I thought you need. I thought you've always needed a PlayStation for that to work.
It doesn't look like it.
But the other thing is like Sony, before E3 came out, Sony kind of did a tour to some press outlets, and they were kind of going around saying like, hey, we sell a lot of PlayStations.
Yeah.
But the other thing they kind of said is, hey, backwards compat, no one cares about that. Or at the very least, they said, we don't care about it. Which Microsoft obviously disagrees because they're going like full in on that.
Yeah, they're like, you want 360 games? Here's like 100 of them.
You want like original more. Xbox games? Have at it.
We'll make it happen.
So it seems like Sony has like a different mindset of this, which I think is kind of the wrong mindset, to be fair.
I would say almost that backwards compatibility. The backwards compatibility does give the Xbox actual box some value because you can't put those games into your PC if you don't have an Xbox.
But I wouldn't be
have
surprised.
Those games, that's the only way.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they figure it out. Like if they figure out a way to get like Xbox and Xbox 360 games on the PC. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're working on.
I'd be fairly surprised, but it'd be awesome if they did.
Yeah, but I just really think because just with this whole like. I really think they're looking at the Xbox as like a platform to play Xbox games, and you can play it on your PC, you can play it on your Xbox box. You can play it like anywhere that has Windows or any Microsoft branded device. I really think that because with this bringing back the OG Xbox games, there's no reason to do that other than to buff up that library, Yeah. You say, look, we have a lot of
available games.
And especially compared to when you can look at the competition and go, like, you can only play PS4 games on your PS4.
Yeah, until they make a remaster of something else.
Yeah. And remasters are hot and heavy, as they always are.
Yeah.
But it really just seems like it really seems like Microsoft is aiming to go into, like, Xbox as a platform.
Yeah.
And I really don't know about Sony. It seems like they kind of are looking at it different. And Sony is kind of like the victor right now. They're selling the most consoles, so they kind of, Microsoft is the underdog, and as the underdog, they're forced to, experiment more and forced to come up with more
strategies.
To force you to do more innovative ideas. And that's kind of how it was with when the PS4 first launched. Microsoft was way ahead with Xbox 360, and it forced Sony to really experiment with the PS4. And there was the whole. You can trade in your games thing that was whenever the PS4 launched. So it's to me right now, like the console market is very interesting with all this stuff, and I bet a lot of this. I bet a lot of the way this is going to play out is depending entirely on how this stuff sells.
Yeah.
How many Xbox One X's, Xbox One X's sell.
Yeah.
And how many pros sell. And it seems like Sony's happy with the way the pros are selling. So I'll be interested to see in a few months or, maybe even E3 next year and how Microsoft is looking at the One X.
Yeah, how they present next year.
Or I just want to know like how they feel about it after a year. I want to know like what like are they happy with the sales? What are the sales like? Are they to me, it'll be really interesting if at some point either Sony or Microsoft go, okay, if you have a Slim or a 1S, you can't like it'll be really interesting if at some point they announce a new hardware increment, and then as with that announcement, they go, some games won't work on the 1S or the Slim. That will be when it'll be really interesting to see how that all turns out, you know?
Yeah, because that's basically then I'd have to go buy a new PlayStation if I want to keep.
Well, yeah, and then that'll be like the phone thing, like at some, because new iPhones come out every year, and at some point they go like, hey, if you have the 4, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like it's not gonna work anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. But I'm definitely very intrigued by how this will all shake up, and that's with Microsoft. That's what's always the weird thing. It's just like, man, I like that 1X thing looks cool, and then the 4K stuff looks awesome. But man, it's like I have no reason to get it. I have zero reason.
Yeah, if I had a 4K TV, maybe I'd be like, oh, I want to play stuff on that TV in 4K.
Yeah, but I don't.
And I don't want to run an HDMI cable from my PC.
I looked up how much like a good 4K TV was during those conferences. It was like $1,500, and I was like, hell no.
Yeah, so for if you wanted a great 1080p experience, it's like a third the price.
Not
easy.
Even like quarter of the price.
Yeah.
But moving on to some games that they announced. Let's see, Assassin's Creed Origins was something that definitely piqued my interest. It's the first, this is the first Assassin's Creed after they took their break. There was no Assassin's Creed last year. What you think? What you think of the setting?
It's interesting.
Sliding down a pyramid sure look cool, right?
Yeah, I think ancient Egypt is a very cool setting, and also it makes a lot of sense, like with the way their like mythology is in those games.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I could totally believe that's where everything started. I haven't been super into Assassin's Creed since like 4.
Me neither. The last one I played was 4.
Yeah, Black Flag was, I think it changed my life, but
Black Flag was such a good game.
Yeah, the rest of them, 3 was okay. The first ones were pretty good.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
But then
and a little bit after 2.
Yeah, 5 was like it wasn't.
I heard there was the one after Black Flag that was awful, and then the newest one I heard was okay. Syndicate, I think, was the newest one.
So Unity was 5. That was after Black Flag, and
that one was awful.
It wasn't awful, but the PC port was garbage.
Oh yeah.
But I played it after a while. I had been out for a while. I got it for like $5, I think, on like one of those like flash sale things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all right. It was just kind of boring though. I didn't care about the story, and so it didn't like hook me the way 4 did.
Yeah.
And then Syndicate, I just never wanted to throw down more than $5 for an Assassin's Creed game after that. So I
heard Syndicate wasn't a complete like mess up. That
no, I think it was cool because you could play a guy or a girl because
the
main character is twins.
Yeah.
Or brother and sister, I don't remember. Yeah.
So to me, like the main thing that's really interesting about this is to see what they've learned, what the extra development time will do.
And I hope the extra development time is to develop all the stuff that's in the future about Abstergo, and then to cut it out.
From what I saw, like I didn't watch a lot of gameplay, but from what I saw, there didn't seem to be a lot of the future stuff.
But they never. Go ahead.
But I'm pretty sure Syndicate didn't even have almost any of the future stuff either.
Yeah, I mean 4 had very little of it, but literally it only made the game worse. Like when you were in the game, you were like, all right, gonna play Assassin's Creed, and then they're like, remember, it's a game in a game. You're just a dude in an office. Like, what? I don't care. I don't give a shit about that. And then they're like, they bring you back to the present, and you have to like do all these things. They're like, oh, you gotta hack the servers, and it's like, fuck off. I want to be a pirate. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll have minimal or none of. If ideally, Assassin's Creed, if an Assassin's Creed game could have no present time stuff, I would love it.
Yeah. It definitely, and this kind of is a little disappointing, but like from watching the gameplay, it definitely looks like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Didn't they say something about new combat?
Yes, I think there is a new combat engine.
So could be cool.
Could be like it's to me like the only reason I am remotely excited for this is the setting, and I want to believe that this 2 year the extra year will be helpful, like worth it, and like will actually do some good. From looking at it, like purely looking at the game, it just looks like Assassin's Creed, but I'm hoping there's more there.
Yeah, from just looking at it, it looks like Assassin's Creed in Egypt, which honestly is what we expected when we heard it was Assassin's Creed in Egypt. Like, it's. I hope they can do something incredible. I remain doubtful, but it's an interesting setting.
Yeah, that's it. Look, sliding off a pyramid looks cool. Like,
but if I want Assassin's Creed combat, I think I'll play probably Middle-earth Shadow of War.
Yeah.
That's more Batman, I guess, than Assassin's Creed combat. Although I don't know how the new one will be.
We'll get to that, but you got Metro Exodus on here.
Yes. I know
you
don't. I
never got into the Metro series, and I thought that they were done with those games, so that came out as a surprise. What do you think about it?
So I talked to our friend Zach a lot about this. Not a lot, but like when we were playing Last Light and the original, and they've said that they were like working on a new one that's going to be like more open and stuff for a while, but like last year went by, we heard nothing. They did like the remasters either last year or the year before, and then there's just nothing. Is silent about a new one. So I'm excited to see this. It looks awesome. One of my favorite things about the Metro games is being like above ground, and you have to put your gas mask on.
Yeah.
You have to swap out filters and stuff. Like, that's so cool to me. And so it looks like there's a lot of that because you're above ground most of the time. Although it looked like he took his mask off above ground, which is the opposite of what I wanted. But we'll see. It looks really cool.
Maybe there's just like certain areas that aren't like completely irradiated or something.
Yeah, which would be cool. And I hope that there are like large wastelands that you have to put your mask back on for. Like, I want to wear a gas mask, all right? And I'm gonna.
That's my power fantasy.
Yeah.
Is there
to not be able to breathe?
Is there I've never been a fan of the Metro games. But is there a connecting story between all of them?
Yeah, I believe you're the same character in the first and the second one. And there's also the main story's different. In the second one you're fighting like Nazis mostly.
Oh.
And communists. Because you're like a third faction that's neither. I don't know what you are.
America.
You're the Spartans, like Spartan Rangers or whatever.
Okay.
I think you're Spartans. Maybe that's Halo. It's also definitely Halo, but I think you're like the Spartan Rangers. And so in the first one, there's like you're this guy Artyom, and without spoiling a lot, there's like these weird creatures called Dark Ones, and like you have to kind of decide whether you get rid of them or not. That's like your ultimate choice, but you're trying. Basically, humanity. You know the basic gist. Humanity is stuck in the metros. Like, there's been an apocalypse, and people
pretty much Fallout, but way more dark and gloomy.
A lot grittier than Fallout. There's none of that happy music, except maybe at like the whorehouse or whatever, or the strip club. I don't know. But it's awesome. Like, those games are really atmospheric. You get really immersed like right away. You're in it for like 10 minutes and you're like, I am a Russian in the metro.
I heard someone was playing and they played it all in Russian, and it really added the immersion.
I think back when Last Light came out, Total Biscuit said that it was really immersive to put English subtitles on so you know what's happening, but Russian voices.
Yeah.
And also you can play. Last Light did a dumb thing where there's this mode called Ranger mode where there's basically no HUD. Like,
I heard about that.
There's just you have to look at things to see what you have.
Yeah, and like you got to look at your magazines to see how many bullets you have and stuff like that.
And so it's like really immersive. I don't like it as much because I like the convenience of some UI. Yeah. But they also made that like a $5 DLC or something, which they later changed. And I think they made it you just had to like beat the game and you get it or
I
something.
mean, that's still a cool concept though, like the whole no HUD thing.
It's
I
really
think it's
cool.
cool when games do that.
I really like the way Dead Space did it, where all your heads-up display is like in the game, so your ammo's displayed on your gun, like as a hollow thing on the back of your gun,
Yeah,
and then your inventory is like a projector off of the thing on your chest that shows up in front of your character, is that your character is
that's
looking
cool.
at. Yeah, and so like I like it when games do that. I mean, I like Dead Space a lot, but not talking about Dead Space, but I like it when games keep the UI like in the game. It doesn't take you
Yeah.
out of it. Like Fallout has the Pip-Boy and stuff, but yeah.
All right, and we also have Black Desert Online. I guess is coming to Xbox.
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
I haven't heard much about that MMO. I heard it exists, and that's pretty much it. It looks
Yeah,
cool.
I heard it
that
has really good
trailer.
combat.
That trailer definitely looked interesting.
Yeah, basically I put it on our list because I like the trailer. And I've never played Black Desert, and it looks awesome. But I know it's an
on
MMO.
sale right now.
So what's
The
that?
Steam store. The Steam store, I think it's on sale on Steam.
Yeah,
For
maybe I'll get it. I don't know. If there's a sub fee, I won't.
I don't, and that's the thing. I don't think there is a sub fee.
I always thought there was, because Final Fantasy 14, the MMO,
Yeah.
that you can play on consoles, but there is a sub fee still, as far as I know.
There is still a sub fee for Final Fantasy in general. It is on sale right now for $7.99.
Maybe this is
And
my
I
time.
don't believe there is a sub fee.
I don't know.
Um,
But like
but,
Black
like-
Desert Online always looked really cool to me.
Yeah.
And the combat I've heard is awesome. But
Yeah.
then I remember it's still an MMO. And I don't super want to play another MMO right now.
Yeah, and
Maybe
as far as
WoW.
MMOs go, if I was to get into an MMO, it'd probably be Final Fantasy. They just put out that update, that
Yeah.
expand, and there's that documentary that Danny O'Dwyer did on with NoClip.
On no clip, yep.
So like I always have an MMO itch. Like that itch is always kind of there.
Yeah.
Um,
It depends.
But,
if I'm really busy, I don't. But if
Yeah.
I'm not really busy, I do. Like
but
pretty
it's
much
just like
always.
Black Desert Online to me. Like while it looks cool, it also kind of just looks like every other Korean MMO.
Yeah, it just looks like Terra.
Yeah,
different
but
set. It looks better than Terra.
that trailer did look awesome. When I first saw it before they did the title card, I was like, "What is this awesome game?"
Yeah.
And I want to play it, but then I was like, "Oh, it's just an MMO that's been out
Yeah.
for a while."
It's just the same thing. Yeah.
Um, we also got Sea of Thieves, which looks fun.
It looks really interesting. Yeah, it looks cool. It would definitely be fun to play with friends, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very interested in how that game will play out because there's like some mixed signals, like whether it's session based or there's persistence. But playing it definitely seems like a lot of fun. Like especially if you can get, or maybe only if you can get like, 2 or 3 people to play with you, and like just to go out and like let's go be pirates. Like they showed at E3. Like the treasure hunting, and like they had a map in it. Like there's like literally a button where you could like look down and count how many paces you're going,
Yeah,
which I think is cool.
that's super cool.
And then got to get the treasure, and then you had to like take it back to your ship, and then someone else could come and take your ship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it definitely seems like something like if you can get a group of people, you will definitely have a good time. And it's made by Rare, which they're known for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me though, it's the question in how it all like plays. Like if there's because there were like I could have sworn I heard some stuff like it might be session based, which just sounds weird.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
I
not
think
sure. Yeah.
I think it would be really awesome if it was just like like a lighthearted Destiny with pirates.
Yeah. That'd be Destiny. I don't know.
Well, not that, I mean in the sense that there's like
That it's a
online
shared
persistence.
world.
Yeah, and sharing a shared world, and there's multiplayer like in that sense, not like RPG, not in like an RPG sense.
Right. No, it looks like it could be very fun. It would be fun too to play with like a group of friends without any like hostile people and just like sort of explore, and then
Yeah,
after a while like hop into a server that has a lot of people or
yeah.
something like that.
But who knows that if it will even be like that.
Yeah. All right.
But going from there, let's see. I got The Last Night on here, which we don't know much about. They only showed it for a brief minute, but what they did show looked like gorgeous. It was like the most gorgeous looking pixel game. It wasn't.
Oh yes, yeah.
You see, you know what I'm talking about now,
Yeah.
right? It's a cyberpunk game,
And it's like pixel art, but the colors
like very
were
the color, like very detailed pixel art.
yeah.
And it just looked like cyberpunk noir.
Yeah.
And that to me is like one of the, like, I love me some cyberpunk, I love me some sci-fi, but I also love me some like nitty gritty noir, like in the slums kind of stuff. Like, and they didn't really show anything beyond like what, like how it plays, or like no gameplay, like what the story is. It just showed like really cool trailer, which I recommend everyone to watch. But it definitely it's like something that is going to be on my radar until I see like something that takes it off. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it looked very cool. I didn't put it on because I typically am not a fan of like pixel art games, but with some exceptions. You know, like I like Dead Cells a lot.
I I'm on the same boat, but I like the, like, and I hate to call it pixel art too, because like these, like Dead Cells and like The Last Night, there's like, it's like very highly detailed. It's not like 8-bit or 16-bit. It's like,
it's just that it is pixels and not
polygons. But they that's not like the defining thing of it. Like that's not.
It's not the genre. It's just an art style that typically I'm not a big fan of. But they did it in a really cool way with The Last Night.
Yeah.
So
speaking of good art styles, Cuphead was also shown. On the Microsoft
that's
Cuphead.
the Disney style one.
Yeah, and that's just like, that game just looks cool. Like I want to play that purely to play an old cartoon game.
Yeah.
They changed it from a couple years ago. Like originally, I think it was supposed to be a boss only game.
Yeah, we saw something about it last year, the year before.
Yeah, but now after a lot of like outcry, I guess they added they kind of went back to the drawing board and added like levels and stuff, and they didn't really show a lot of that. They kind of just put out a trailer with a release date in September, but still that game looks it looks fun, and the art style just is awesome. Like it's just a cool art. It's an art style that I'm surprised no one's done before.
It's probably very tough to do. Like I don't
probably
to have it like stylized that way.
Yeah. I would be, it'd be very cool, a no clip documentary on
yeah.
And then we have Terry Crews Crackdown 3.
Yeah, that was quite a trailer.
Did you ever play the other Crackdowns?
No, I've never even heard of Crackdown before.
It was an Xbox exclusive. The first one came on the 360. I played 1 and 2. It's an open world game, but they're a lot of fun because like there's just a lot of stuff to do, and one of the things you could do in the originals was like there's like you power up. There's like a bunch of different abilities you can power up, like you're driving, you're jumping, you're shooting, like all this different stuff. And a lot of times you do it by like doing the thing. So like you upgrade your driving skill by driving insanely, and you upgrade your jumping skill by like there's these orbs floating all around the city, and you have to like it's like not necessarily jumping puzzles, but like they kind of like move, and you have to kind of chase them.
You have to like platform your way up to them.
Yeah, and they move, and they also move, so you had to chase them and find the best way to get them.
I gotcha.
They're fun games, and the second one wasn't too great. The first one was awesome. I'm definitely kind of excited for this. The art style really seems dated. Like just watching the trailer, like it just seems kind of like that whole cell shaded, kind of like Borderlands.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, is this a Borderlands from 2012? Like,
yeah, it just seems like that kind of style. One, it definitely doesn't kind of showcase the 4K of the One X very well.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, it just seems like it's like one of those like there was definitely a time where you can like look at a game and be like, that's a PlayStation 1 game or PlayStation 2 game for sure.
That's sort of like a I don't even know what
this is like oh, this is like something that could have came out on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, but Terry Crews is in it. He's a playable character.
But he's he's a playable gamer.
But I heard he's a playable character because he just straight up asked.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love Terry Crews.
Yeah,
dude's great guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see. Did you see that video he put out with him building the PC with his son?
A while back, yeah.
And but though, like, why he did it? Like, he had some interview
because he wanted to spend more time with his son. Right?
Yeah, dude, like, this man's just straight up nice guy.
Just a good person.
Yeah. So, like, I might just play that game because you could play Terry Crews.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets some royalties.
Hopefully. And then we have another heavy hitter here, Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
Yeah, that's probably along with Battlefront 2 and Anthem. That's like my third piece of my triangle of awesome games here.
It's definitely one of my most anticipated games of this year. Like, I cannot Shadow of Mordor was one of the other games that I actually played to completion.
Yeah.
At the time when that game came out, I didn't play almost any game to completion.
Yeah.
That's how awesome that game was. And this game just looks like that and more. Like, it just like
the way it got more RPG elements.
Which is like, it's not a huge plus, but it's not a minus either. Like, I'm not opposed to RPG elements, but I could also kind of do without them.
I like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
All right. I like being able to get gear that looks different. Like, it's not just a stat increase, but it looks different on your character. I like games where you can do that. That's awesome.
But I'm really excited for the new Nemesis system and the way, it really seems like this is kind of like the action RPG plus like some real strategy elements. Like, you're building an army of orcs and stuff, and
orcs and big orcs.
And like, I've seen some people who played it, like they said, like, you could really spend a good amount of time just staring at the menus, like trying to really figure out like what's the best way to siege this fortress.
That's pretty cool.
And like the way you can have like orc bodyguards, and you can have them betray you, or and you can manipulate the way the Nemesis system is an awesome system, and it really seems like the way they're fleshing it out this time around is just better.
Yeah, and I really like the other elements of like taking like forts and outposts, and it's like you're waging a war, and it's cool. It's really awesome. Then
the whole you can pick favorite, like if you when you siege a fortress and you pick a new orc leader there, it has like an effect on the region and everything.
It's really cool. I can't wait to play that.
I really can't.
In October, right?
I believe so. It was supposed to come out in August, but they pushed it back.
Which I'm always glad when they push a game like that back.
Yeah,
I don't want it to come out early and be garbage.
Yeah, and I have full faith in the developers. They were also on Giant Bomb's late night thing and talking about it. And one of the devs pulled out a QA tester's some feedback he got from a QA tester, and this amazing story that the QA tester got. And he was just like, yeah, no one else can have that. Yeah. No one else that game is kind of like Stellaris. It's a game that just generates its own stories.
Yeah, it makes its own small stories. Stellaris does it makes grand sci-fi stories.
Stellaris is like a grand sci-fi epic generator.
Yeah.
Shadow of War seems like a
small character story.
A fantasy war story simulator or a generator. I'm just like, man, that when Shadow of Mordor came out, that game was one of my favorite games of that year, and this just seems like more of that and better.
It looks like they improved it in every way. It's really cool.
And it seems like they got the right balance of improving things and not straying too much away from the original game, which is very rare to see from a sequel. To get a sequel that not only improves and adds some new stuff, but also doesn't like take away the core parts of the game that made the original awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it stays true to the original, but it expands like the scope. It adds new systems and new features, and existing features. It looks like it improves, which I know it's like a lot of praise to put on a game before we've played it.
Yeah.
But from the looks of things, it looks awesome.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about like a developer who has been tried and tested, and I don't remember Shadow of Mordor coming out and having any like bad port problems.
No, it ran poorly on my laptop because my laptop had like a 650M, like it's a bad card.
But yeah, I don't like. I'm not. I'm not cautious of like any sort of like they haven't shown anything to make me cautious of like bad ports or whoever. So I'm very. I think, especially if it comes out in October, I'm extremely excited.
I think one of the things people didn't like was pre-order bonuses.
This one is also pretty bad with the pre-order bonuses too. But that's a publisher thing, and as much as I hate it,
take away from the game.
Yeah, as much as I hate it, it's not like it's not going to stop me from buying the game.
Right. I don't have morals.
Yeah. I don't have integrity.
The time for that stand was like when Mass Effect 3 came out. It's not now.
Yeah.
They won. They won.
But yeah, that's kind of it for Microsoft. I guess we can move on to Ubisoft. And I think the biggest thing that came out of Ubisoft was that Mario and Rabbids thing, which is pretty much just Mario meets XCOM.
Yeah, you were interested in that somewhat. I am not.
I mean, I'm just interested in it because it's like
so weird.
It's so weird, and this is probably like one of the Nintendo is known to be very conservative with
for sure
their big IPs, especially Mario.
Yeah, probably most of all.
Yeah, and for them to give Mario to Ubisoft, 2 to let it be Mario and Rabbids, 3 give Mario a gun, and make it an XCOM game. It's just
strategy game.
Yeah, it's just like I might I don't have a Switch. I wish I did, but like if I had a Switch, I might just get that game just for that alone. Just to have this weird, bizarre game that shouldn't exist by no means. It shouldn't. But it does.
If I had a Switch, I would definitely not buy it. I would just buy Zelda. It just looks so weird, and it's not something I'm interested in. I liked XCOM 1. I didn't finish it. I think XCOM 2 looked really cool, but the next XCOM I wanted was not a Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah, but it's still.
I have no interest in it at all.
Just a thing I'm not. I don't tend to like XCOM games, but it's just something that is like intriguing and it's just bizarre. And like Miyamoto, I think Miyamoto, right? That's the guy who makes Mario.
We'll say it is, yeah.
Yeah, we'll say it is. He even came out with the gun on his hand at the Ubisoft conference. It's just like, that's not how Nintendo works. That's not what they do.
Yeah.
They're like for kids.
I mean, kids like guns.
Squirt
guns.
But Nintendo is typically very conservative with like their stuff like that. It's interesting.
In like Mario Party, you can light people on fire. So I don't know.
Lighting people on fire and guns, 2 completely different things.
I mean, it's in a cartoonish way, but at least you're not shooting them.
And then let's see, they also did Skull and Bones.
Which, the trailer
looked cool.
Yeah, basically, I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks awesome. And then I saw that you're just a boat, and I was like,
yep,
I've changed my mind.
That trailer was the quickest, this is the coolest thing to I'm totally not going to get this.
Yeah, I like the ship combat. If you're into ship combat, looks fun. It looks awesome, but I'm not. Well, not. I mean,
that ship combat, if it's remotely like the one in Black Flag, that ship combat
is probably awesome.
It's probably pretty good, but
I don't want that to be the only thing in the game, though.
Yeah, there is more to Black Flag. There is more to being a pirate than just being a ship.
To ship combat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not one to speak for pirates in general, but I like to be able to leave my ship once in a while.
Yeah, as like and you know, sea shanties be damned. I don't want to just be a ship. Like
I am a man. God damn it.
and they even said like at first it seemed like it was just a multiplayer only game.
Yeah.
But they even said then there was going to be a single player, which didn't even it still just boggles like.
Well, the thing is, they can have scenes where the crew goes ashore to like go to the town, or the crew goes ashore to like bury treasure. Or whatever.
But that would only add to the whole like.
Like I want that. Let me play that. Yeah.
Like I don't want to just be a ship, man.
Yeah. It could be really fun though. Like I'm gonna hold off judgment until I hear more about that.
And to be fair, Ubisoft has been kind of good with these weird multiplayer games. Rainbow Six Siege, was it 6?
It was.
Like that got pretty good, and I hear it's still pretty popular.
I
For
guess
Honor,
if you're a pro gamer, it's still pretty popular.
Yeah, well,
I'm still salty about that game.
like Ubisoft has been pretty good about like coming up with these weird multiplayer games. But it's still just like it's like they took all that Black Flag hype and then just went the wrong way.
Yeah, which I don't know that they're taking a lot of Black Flag hype, given that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, but that's the thing people have been asking for years.
Is they want a Black Flag by itself without Assassin's Creed stuff. Just I want to be a pirate. I want to live in a pirate world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we have the Starlink Battle for Atlas. That's that weird.
Yeah, it's like a weird little novelty thing. I guess Starlink is a series.
Ubisoft has to have their weird novelty thing. They always have to have some weird novelty game.
I guess Starlink is a series, but also you get like ships in real life that are like these little figures.
Not even only ships. I saw in the trailer there's one that was just like a figurine of a person.
I guess.
So I don't know what that's about.
The one thing I saw is with the ships, they had like a clip where it clips onto the controller.
Yeah, which is
weird.
I don't know how any of that's gonna work. Like and I thought we were kind of done with the Toys to Life stuff. Like
other than like Skylanders or whatever.
But I thought one of them just got shut. I thought Disney Infinity, I think, is what
that went down a little while ago. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so I thought we were kind of done with that stuff. And I know there's the Lego one.
We're not the target demo for that.
Of course not. But like I just thought like that they weren't selling that well.
It's a neat little thing. I've always thought it's cool to have like a figure in real life and you put it on something and then you have it in a game. Like that's awesome. It's not something I'm gonna pay a lot of money to get into, but it looks like a neat little game.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be quite a big game, but
who knows?
It's I think not exactly for me.
Yeah, and I would almost say I'd probably be a lot more interested if it didn't have those. I would probably, I'd be better to see. I would better say I'd take it more seriously if it didn't have the toys.
If it didn't have these, like, yeah, exactly. If it didn't have the toys, I'd see it more as like, oh, that's an interesting game. But as it is now, I'm like, that's an interesting novelty.
Like, and then some stuff that I saw at Ubisoft, they put The Crew 2.
I saw that,
which I didn't think they'd make a sequel to that game.
I got the Crew 1 for free. I still haven't played it.
It's okay.
Yeah, you guys were excited when it came out.
Yeah, and it delivered on what I wanted to a point. But the thing with The Crew 2, their big thing now is like, oh, it's not just cars, it's boats and planes and motorcycles.
Now it's boats and hoes.
But my big thing is though is like if it's just that and they didn't at least make like America, that was their big thing for the Crew 1 was like it's all of America.
You drive all the way across.
Yeah, if they didn't at least make that a little bigger, like more detailed or anything or something like that, then that's like an immediate like nah, sorry.
Don't care,
Yeah, because like it was at the time it was cool to be like, yeah, it's all of America, but like once you played it a lot, it was like, yeah, like this is like a really, really, really watered down version of America.
Yeah.
And while still cool, and no other game has done that, it's still like if you're gonna make a sequel and you're not going to improve on that part, like then you're missing something.
Yeah.
But But I'll definitely keep an eye on that just to see if that's the case or not. But then we have Far Cry 5, which I know did you ever play any other Far Cry games?
I played 3, and I got Blood Dragon for free. It was like a Games with Gold game for the 360. Blood Dragon was an interesting experience. I think not for me. 3 was really good, but I didn't finish it.
I played 3 too. That was the last one I played.
Yeah, and 4 I wasn't interested in, and like I watched playthroughs of it. I watched a playthrough of it for the most part, and still I'm like glad I didn't play it because I just don't care about like it just seemed dumb.
What do you think about this one? Does it coming to America do anything for you?
Not even a little bit. Far Cry Primal I didn't care about. Far Cry 5 I don't care about.
I think that like I'm kind of with you. Like Far Cry is it's definitely a bit repetitive. Like they might as well all be the same game.
Yeah.
But I am definitely very much interested in the story they have going on with this one, and with in middle of Montana, there's like a religious cult like that. That's right up my alley. I want to see how all this plays out.
Is it Outlast 2?
No. But it like that trailer they put out with the song or whatever. There was like a part of it where there was like a dude like banging a guy's head onto this like church bell, making the bell go.
Okay.
And I was like, that's cool. That's really cool. But it was kind of unfortunate. Like it seemed like when they announced this game, and I think it kind of got leaked before E3. They were really seemed like they were taking kind of a serious tone with it. Be like, hey, it's in America. There's like some dark stuff going on here.
Shit. Yeah.
But and then everyone got pissed because America sucks and like they were all like, you can't kill Americans and was just trying to have some sort of political agenda and stuff like that. Like, yeah, people got like angry. They had to come.
Are you playing as a non-American killing Americans?
No. Like they had to straight out come out and say like, yeah, this is totally a work of fiction. Like,
yeah, like you're fine with going to an island and killing everybody there? Like, what the fuck? What?
Like it. And so, and then it seemed like in E3, it kind of seemed like they took a tone shift and then was all like, yeah, it's all lighthearted and fun and blow stuff up.
Far Cry is
like
normally like it starts off, or like the theme seems lighthearted and fun, and then there's like some really dark stuff.
Yeah, but that's like Far Cry is pretty good about having like good villains.
Yeah, that's typically the only good thing. Well,
so,
other than gameplay and graphics.
Yeah, and so that's where like I'm hopeful about this one is because like the setting and the story seem like it could be really, if done well, could be really interesting. Especially with like they couldn't have better timing with this, like with the setting and what's going on, and everything. Yeah. And it couldn't be better timing. So I'm definitely interested. It'll be my first Far Cry since 3. And I'm definitely not opposed to that kind of game. I mean, Horizon is pretty much a way better Far Cry game.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
So I'm not like completely opposed to that, but I hope that story is as interesting as they make it out to be.
All right.
And then one last thing we got for Ubisoft is that they kind of announced Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I don't know. You said you never played the original, right?
No, I've heard the name, but I had no idea what it was about. I did not think it was about what I saw in the trailer.
I haven't either. I know from what research I've done, it's kind of like Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, and it's like RPG-ish. And there was an interesting mechanic with taking pictures. But the setting seems really cool. Like like they got genome mapping figured out, so that's why there's like pig people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the main reason I put it on here is because like, man, they are talking this game up like a storm. And I am reminded of a certain game, one No Man's Sky.
certain game. What is it about this new game that reminds you so much of No Man's Sky?
Because they're really talking about like there's multiple planets and you can go up it, you can fly in and out of them, and there's
is it meant to be a sandbox though, or is it all?
To be fair, it's not procedural generate. No, I don't think there's any procedural generation. There's not like unlimited planets. It's like a set number. Okay. But they are talking. They're like, it's the way they're presenting this. It's like all these big ideas that sound really, really good. And it's like one of those things that's just like, yeah, especially after No Man's Sky, it's like, yeah, I find it hard to believe. Like most of that stuff I find really hard to believe. And it seems like they're talking it up a lot. And like, I'm just reminded of No Man's Sky the same way of like, this game looks way too good to be true.
Yeah.
It's way too, what's the word? Like it's way too dreamy, like way too much,
too many big ideas.
Yeah. Like too many things that like like you could tell. And I feel like this is what, where, we talked about this before, like where No Man's Sky kind of messed up. It's like, you could tell the developers wanted these things.
They loved what they were making, and they wanted to do so
and they
many
wanted,
awesome
and they
things.
wanted, and they genuinely wanted to do the things they said they were doing, but they didn't. And that's where this is feeling. Like, it really seems like the developers are definitely about this, definitely like about these crazy ideas, but like the execution just seems so difficult and near impossible that I mean, if that game comes out and it turns out to be everything they said, that sounds awesome, and I'll probably play it because it looks interesting. It looks like an interesting world, and it's a prequel, so maybe like I don't think I'll have to catch up on some story.
All those things I know about Beyond Good and Evil. I'll have
to... but it's just like it's just something I put on here just because it's like it's eerily reminiscent of pie in the sky dreaming game development.
We'll see. It might be. I don't know anything about the developer of this. I don't think they're the same type of like untested developer as No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
So if it's like actually constructed and built worlds as opposed to like they're all procedurally generated, so they're all different, but they're all the same.
That's the thing that's kind of given me a slick of hope, is that like they said, it's not procedurally generated. It's like there's a set number of worlds.
Yeah.
It's
a designed experience.
And that's the thing that I think over the past couple of years, where procedural generation has become more apparent, I have become much more appreciative of smaller, not necessarily smaller, but more designed,
more tightly designed
stuff.
Games.
Yeah, something that was more deliberate design, rather than rather than throwing like a random generator at it and saying figure it out.
A game where like at least 90% of stuff was put there by a person for a reason, as opposed to they were like, make me a planet, and like it generates. And like
here's a good example, like in The Witcher, like playing and that game came out 2 years ago, but playing The Witcher again, you get that, like you come across things in that game where you can see that it's just there's little details in the world that someone put there. Someone put that detail there. It wasn't just left to some code that made it.
Yeah, they weren't just like, all right, fill in this forest. They were like, all right, you like Polish John, make this forest, and like but like if you have any interesting stories, or like here are some stories you could put in that forest, and like they have these little touches where it's hard in that game to run for a while and find nothing.
And
even
it's not
if you
even
find a town that's like just an abandoned town, like there's some little story behind it.
And that's not even like and there's not even always like a quest or a mechanic behind it. They're just there. Like
but there's like you can piece together, if you go to that place, you can figure out like kind of what happened here.
But there doesn't need to be like some reward. It's just there.
Just something that's there, and it's meaningfully there.
Yeah, and it adds to the world, the immersiveness. So that's kind of where, like, from hearing about Beyond Good and Evil 2, where that will, like, the fact that they're straying away from procedural generation is nice. But it's still to me, a lot of it is just pie in the sky game development of like they have all these ideas and they definitely want to execute them, but I question their ability to.
It's a little haughty of you.
Well, it's not like that, but like
you're still skeptical of if it can be achieved.
Yeah, because it's hard. Like that kind of stuff is hard. There was even one of the things they said about that game was like I said in the first game, there was a big mechanic in it about taking pictures.
Oh, okay.
And so apparently that's also in the sequel now. And they said that in the game, when you take a picture, there's metadata to it, and you could show the picture to NPCs, and they will react accordingly.
Huh. Okay.
Which sounds cool. Like, that sounds awesome. But, how does that actually translate to the game? How does that, what is that really going to look like? Will it just be the same voice line over and over again?
I think only if it's like a horrified thing, like where you have to get past someone. So every time you just show them Goatsy, and then go throw up, and then you continue through the level.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of it for Ubisoft. So we got, I think all we got left now are Sony and Nintendo.
Right before Sony, can we take a quick break?
Yeah, let's take a quick 5-minute break.
Yeah, this podcast is approaching. We're already about to hit 2 hours, so we're approaching mega podcast status.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a quick 5-minute break.
Yep, and so we will be right back.
All right, and we're back. So we got Sony, Bethesda, and Nintendo on deck.
Yep.
Let's start with Sony. I think the first thing we got here, I guess we'll talk about God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think you put God of War and his son.
Yeah, in my list of notes, I put God of War and his son.
That game looks. I actually forgot for a second. It was called. I thought it was for God of War 4, but it's actually just called God of War.
Oh, they're just doing the old. We'll just call it the same thing as the first one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because nothing matters anymore.
Yeah. Battlefront, God of War. I don't care. Yeah.
Who cares? But that game looks like a lot of fun. They showed some gameplay off of that thing.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
The axe is awesome. It drips molten lava. So I think that is very cool.
It's sick.
I'm a little interested in the whole sun mechanic thing.
I'm less so, but
I'm not so much excited for it. I'm just kind of interested
to see how it works.
About it. Yeah. There is apparently a dedicated sun button.
Yeah. It's exciting times we live in.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, no, this is the first God of War game where I've owned a PlayStation to play it when it came out. Yeah. So I probably will get it at some point.
Have you played any of the other ones?
No, but they've always looked cool to me.
Yeah, I played the original trilogy, and they're all really great. What's really interesting about this one is it's all one single camera cut. There's no cuts at all. Which is not
interesting.
Yeah, not something you usually see in a video game. It's usually it's more for movies, but
not even no cuts. So there's no cutscenes. There's no loading
No, I think
screens,
there's.
Or what?
I think there is cutscenes, but there was a really interesting article. They explained this in more detail better than I will. But there is no camera cuts at all. It is all one single continuous shot.
So the cutscenes, they don't fade to black, and then you get the cutscenes.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, I think there is no fade to black. It is just So that's really cool. I hope it
really
adds some cinematic experience to it. God of War in the old games, they were really cool because they would be these big bosses, and they would kind of zoom out and show how big the bosses were.
Yeah.
So I hope that this single cut thing will kind of add to that.
It seems like it did because they showed the thing with the world serpent, which also they had that weird moment where Kratos was like, "What is that?" And his son was like, "It's the world serpent." Obviously.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't. That's the other thing that's kind of weird about this is the lore.
It's Norse.
It's Norse stuff instead of Greek stuff.
Yeah.
So it's I think this has kind of been out there already, but and I'm not. I guess poor me for not doing my research, but I can't remember if they said this is the same Kratos, or if this is
this is Nordic Kratos.
Nordic Kratos, I don't know.
His real name is Sven, but
who also doesn't apparently know his Norse gods very well.
Yeah, he's who upon seeing a giant snake of that size would go, "What is that?" It's that if you know that the world serpent is a possibility and you've killed gods before, if you've seen actual gods, how are you
Well,
I
even
can't
then,
fathom a giant snake. Like,
even if this is the same Kratos, it's like it's gotta be weird for him to see like different gods, right? Like,
yeah, to be like, wait a minute, there's ones besides all the ones in Greece.
or maybe that's a regular thing for him. Maybe he's just like, oh yeah, gods, I know them, I killed them.
Maybe. I
Plenty.
guess. We'll see, I guess.
I'm excited for that game. I'm gonna do it quick. When does that game come
Yeah,
out? 'Cause
for
I wanna...
as much as I make fun of it, it looks cool. And I probably will get it.
Apparently that game is early 2018. So
That's
now
a lot of these games are around that.
they're a little less excited, but
Yeah, it's weird. This is one of the first E3s where normally the majority of games they show are like this fall, like this holiday season. But
actually,
a lot of these are, I don't know.
I think a lot of people would disagree with you because I think a lot of people are like got really upset with E3 because a lot of the games were always like coming 10 years from now.
Well, there's that too, yeah.
But there like, and especially in the past couple of years, there were the surprises like, yeah, and it's coming in 2 months from now.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII
Yeah,
Remastered
and
is coming in the future.
in Foreverland.
Yeah.
But I think like there was what was the one? There was a couple press conferences this year that were like, yeah, all the games we're showing are out this year. I think Nintendo was like that, and then they kind of lied about that.
Well, yeah, because then they showed a little teaser for something, which we'll get
for
into.
Metroid and for Pokemon. But there were a couple press conferences, I think, that were like, yeah, all the stuff we're showing is out this year.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people got excited for because I think a lot of the sentiment with E3 lately has been the games that are shown aren't games that are coming out anytime soon.
That's true, actually. I think I'm wrong about that. But what?
Yeah. I can't wait for God of War. Early 2018 is not too far along. Like that sounds like a far ways away, but that's not like Beyond Good and Evil 2 or Final Fantasy 7. That's not like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And then we have Destiny 2, which is Destiny.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected. Like I was excited originally, and then I saw the gameplay trailer, and I was like,
and it's like, that's Destiny.
Yeah, it is. It's just Destiny still.
I think the
story
cool thing though.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, see, I just saw a headline. Interestingly enough, I mean, this isn't really E3, but I saw this today.
2 weeks after
E3. They said the hardest thing about Destiny 2, adding a story. That's what the devs said.
We've never done this before. How do we do this? Can players follow a narrative?
Narrative.
I don't think it can be done.
Yeah. So I missed out on Destiny 1.
Oh my god.
I will probably pick up Destiny 2.
That headline does not bode well, though.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It's not the hardest thing. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not
I can see how it could be the hardest thing, seeing that it's the second game in a series.
That's true. Where they've already established like a clusterfuck story.
And they butchered the story in the first one. Like I can see how like you as a dev team you could be like, well, how do we fix that trick?
Yeah, that's a big hurdle to be like, all right, we want a cohesive story going forwards, but the foundation
and they still have this crappy foundation to work with.
Yeah.
So like seeing the gameplay, I was just like, yeah, that kind of looks like Destiny, but I missed out on Destiny 1. So I'm not too like bummed out about that. I imagine most Destiny players are, or maybe they're not. Maybe that Destiny was obviously a fun enough game to where people played it.
A lot of people liked it a lot. Yeah.
But I'm a little happy. I was happy at first that it was coming to PC, but now, like, I think it's still locked to 30. No, I think it's locked to 30 on consoles, maybe 60 on PC.
That's not the worst thing.
But the thing is I think they're still doing like a delayed launch for PC, which
I wasn't sure if they were. I thought with the most recent trailer it showed all of them being the same date. I'll fact check that real quick.
Is there a Destiny release date? Destiny 2 September 6th. Says platforms PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but That's the thing, though. Is like they I know for sure they still have that PlayStation exclusive contract with the DLC coming
they
out.
have all content after this has a year of exclusivity on PlayStation.
See, that's where it's like,
which makes me not want to buy it on PC.
Yeah. And especially if it is 30 on consoles and 60 on PC, it's just like it's making it's a really hard choice for me.
It says this is Wikipedia, but it does say PC is October 24th instead of September 6th, so more than a month back.
That's a significant amount of time.
I'm most likely to get it on PlayStation because there's the exclusivity. I have a PlayStation already. I don't know if you can import characters or saves.
No,
I guess saves don't matter because nothing in that game matters. That game.
I think they said there's some content there, or you get something if you had a previous character, but there is no importing a character. There is no anything like that. But man, it is a really hard choice on like, and I guess with that release date, it kind of made it less of a hard choice though, on like whether I want to get it on PC or PlayStation.
If it was the same day, especially with it being in the Blizzard launcher, which is like, I don't know,
weirdly bizarre.
It's bizarre, but it's convenient for me. Like, it'd be nice to use the Blizzard launcher a little bit more. But also, if I don't have to make another account, I don't want to make a new account for anything.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have a PlayStation, right? I have a PlayStation.
Yeah, I'll probably just get it for the PlayStation.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's not a big deal that it's on PlayStation, but it was cool when they announced that it was going to be on PC. But then, like, they put that announcement there, and then they kind of like they messed everything else up with it, like the delayed release date,
it's like the Blizzard launcher.
Yeah, it's on the Blizzard launcher, which I mean, on as a business standpoint, it makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of people see the Blizzard launcher. A lot of people literally just play Hearthstone and they have the Blizzard
or
launcher
Overwatch
every day.
Or Overwatch. Yeah. Overwatch is like probably the most popular thing on there now. I'm pretty sure Overwatch is now way more popular than Hearthstone.
I don't know. I guess I'm not really up to date on like what Blizzard games are.
I have heard that the last Hearthstone expansion really was not great.
I think it totally fucked the metagame.
Yeah,
but I'm like a casual player, and I don't want to get into it.
So yeah, I'll probably get Destiny. It's just to me like where I'm gonna get Destiny, and it'll probably be the PlayStation. But I really wish they would have just like why is putting stuff on the PC so hard? Like I thought we got to a point where putting things on the PC was
Microsoft's
easy.
doing it with everything.
Yeah, Microsoft can apparently do it with everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing to see Sony and Activision just be like, nah.
Well, I mean, they are bringing it to the PC. It's just
but in like the most half-assed way possible.
I like it more than if it was a Windows Store thing. You know?
Yeah.
I like it more than that.
But it's mainly
the second most half-assed way.
Yeah. My main gripe is like the delayed release date and the delayed exclusivity stuff. Like, but again, that's to every console. That's like, even Xbox is still getting a year after, which is just ridiculous, man. Like that
exclusivity is insane.
That is insane. Like it is insane.
That's such a incredible reason to not get it on either of the other two platforms.
Yeah, I wish Anthem wasn't so far out where I could just do a protest buy and just be like, I'll get Anthem instead.
Let me protest.
And then there's that Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I still have to get the base game, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, the story in Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely it's probably its strongest suit. So to see more of that is cool. And I watched the trailer before we did this again, and I'm intrigued like where Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm not going to get into spoiler territory, but where it ended was that it had a good balance of like closing a lot of ties, but also leaving enough room to
continue it
for a continuation. But to see the DLC, this is like very interesting. The tribe that they showed in the DLC was like one of the cooler tribes in the game.
Okay.
And I'm just happy to have another excuse to play that game. I almost got all the trophies in that. I almost platinum.
Wow. Nice.
The only thing that was stopping me was the stupid time trials, which I hate time trials.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that, and depending on how much it is, I'll probably get it.
Yeah.
And then Let's see. You got some stuff. Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, that's first time that's been out on like a big boy console in a while.
on a not Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah.
Or not a handheld.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten into the Monster Hunter games?
No, I think I have Monster Hunter 3 for my DS, and I've played a grand total of about 10 minutes of it. It had a really boring long intro, and then I realized I'm on a DS and I don't really want to play Monster Hunter on a DS.
I got you.
And I never had a Wii U or a Switch. I have a Wii, but I don't really know what's available on that, and it's a little past its time.
Yeah.
So Monster Hunter World being on, I think it's on
PlayStation
Xbox
4.
One and PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah, at least on the PlayStation 4. I don't know if it's on Xbox too.
I believe it's
It got announced on Sony, so it has to be on PS4.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'll get it for. It looks cool. Like graphically, it looks better than my DS does. My 3DS. But yeah, I've always wanted to play a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, me too. There's always one of those games that looks interesting from afar. I know they're very dense and they have like kind of hard to get through mechanics, but once you kind of figure it out, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, every time I see them, I'm like, that looks awesome. Why am I not playing that? And then they're like, only for the Game Boy Advance. Like, that's why.
Yeah. Only for the scrappy handheld.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested in it. It'll probably be something that's like a wait and see for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool that it's finally it's finally coming to like
anything
real
I
console.
own.
Yeah.
But that's anything that's not handheld that I own.
Yeah. And then you got the Shadow of Colossus remaster.
Yep, that looks incredible. It looks really good.
Did you ever play the original?
I never did. I wish I did.
I never did too. But yeah, me too. I that's one of those games that is often hailed as a classic.
Yeah, but honestly, this one looks. I've watched gameplay of the original. I know like a little bit about it. The game itself looks graphically really nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
The remaster. And I guess the gameplay looks similar to me from what they showed and from what I've seen. So maybe it'll help that we haven't played the original, so we won't be disappointed.
Maybe
if it's different.
I don't know. I think I might have read somewhere. This could be completely wrong because this might be about another remaster I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's all original code. Like they lost the old code. But this might be about another remaster. Could be about the Crash Bandicoot remaster. I'm not sure. Don't listen to me. I tell lies.
Okay.
And then you got that new Uncharted game.
Yeah, there's Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
Are you really ready for more Uncharted?
No, I still haven't beat Uncharted 4. I'm not very far into it. I bought it at the beginning of last summer, when I was living in a hotel, and I never got around to it. I played like the first two Uncharted games like so fast that summer. Yeah. And then the third one I got like partway through and I stopped. And I finished it finally like a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Uncharted 3. I didn't restart it. I was in a really hard level and I just kept doing it until I got it done.
Yeah.
And then after you like hit that point, like the rest of the game's fine. Yeah, so finally I got through that, and I started Uncharted 4, and then I realized I didn't want to play another Uncharted until I finish some other games. Yeah. So probably once I finish Mass Effect and Final Fantasy, I'll go back and finish that. It's weird that there's no Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, how do you feel that there's no Nathan Drake? Like,
I don't like it.
I never played. I never played the Uncharted games, and to my understanding, that was kind of like the main appeal.
He pretty much makes the game every time. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm glad that they're not like. It'd be kind of weird if they were just making another one with him after 4. I haven't played through, and I can't spoil it because I don't know the ending. But it seems like it's his last game. Like at the beginning, he's like he has a regular job. Like he's kind of retired from being a treasure hunter, but he gets pulled back into it or whatever. So it seems like that game could end with him being like, "I'm out. Like I'm done." Or maybe he dies. I don't know. I haven't played kind of like the end.
My gripe with this. It's like I kind of don't like the trend of ending a series and then making like a extra game that's technically not in the series. Like, it's just like,
You think this is the Mass Effect Andromeda of Uncharted?
yeah, like, yeah, just, well, not in the sense that they're trying to make like a new trilogy or anything, but like let dead series die.
I
Or
don't.
let,
I'm not 100% in agreement there. I totally get that, but this seems like it's taking two of the side characters.
Yeah, I
and
know.
they're having their own adventure, which is like that's fine. They're okay characters. They weren't my favorite characters, so I don't know how excited I am. But if I'll wait and see, like it looks like it could be like a Tomb Raider, like quality.
I mean, isn't that always how Uncharted's been kind of like Tomb Raider, but with a dude?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a little different. I think Uncharted is probably more arcadey combat than Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know. Well, at least the most recent Tomb Raiders have been like a bit grittier than Uncharted. Uncharted is like a lot more fun and lighthearted, I think,
I got you.
than the new Tomb Raiders. But we'll see. It's interesting. If it gets good reviews, I may get it after I beat Uncharted 4 in a year.
All right, and then I put on here. I put the Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, which I don't. You never did. You ever like? I know you probably didn't play it, but did you ever see Ni no Kuni 1 on
I saw
PS3?
it. And the thing that was weird is I was watching somebody play it, and I remember I couldn't tell when they were actually playing because it looked like they were just watching a cartoon.
Yeah, that game is it has I think the same people who do this. Again, I lied. Don't listen to me.
It's
I
Studio
think
Ghibli.
Yeah, it's those same people. I think I'm not sure if it's like 100% same people, but like it has a
But they're
really good
involved.
animation style.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those games that is like very mechanically dense.
Yeah.
Like the original game had like layers and layers and layers of mechanics, and also it's kind of like Pokemon. Like there was like a monster catching element to it.
That's
I never
the only
beat it.
part I heard about it. You played
I
it?
never. I played it. I never beat it. I played it enough to realize that like I would like this game if I had more time. So I'm definitely kind of interested in this one. Like, and also that game just looks super good. Like
They have
studio-
a really nice style.
they do. And being able to put it like I've seen anime games before and like try to pull it off, and sometimes some people do it okay, but to me this is the best. Like it's an anime video game.
Yeah.
Like through and through. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for that. I can't wait for it to come out. I'll probably like wait and see how it gets for reviews and stuff, but it's definitely on my radar. And I'm actually really surprised they made a second one. I'm not.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the first one.
I didn't think like it did well enough to warrant a sequel.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad it did.
It got great like reviews and stuff, but it seemed like a very niche game. Like a lot of people
for
like
sure.
me saw it
For
and
sure.
were like, I don't give a shit about that game.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
It might have been a thing where it did really well in Japan.
Could have been, yeah.
But who knows? But I'm excited. I'm excited that it got a sequel. I totally wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And then you got Days Gone here. That's that zombie game, right?
Yeah, every time I see it, I think it's The Last of Us 2, and it's not. It's always the zombie game. I don't know. I saw the trailer. I was like, it looks pretty cool still. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but I'm interested to see if it does well.
I'll come out and say this. I'm tired of zombie games. I'm tired of it. And I'll go as far as say I'm tired of zombie anything. I'm so like zombies is so
You're
like
not trapped in the year 2012.
Yeah,
What?
Like for real, it just seems like putting out a zombie game now just seems so like why?
Yeah, totally.
What are you doing?
I 100% agree, but at the same time, it graphically looked really nice.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And I'm interested to see what it's about and how well it
does.
does.
If it's cool, it's cool, and if it gets good reviews, that's awesome. But it's just like I have zero interest in playing another zombie game. Like
I have a little bit.
Like I don't know. They one was like 2012 was the year where there was like every other game was something with zombies.
I mean, yeah, there's Left 4 Dead 2. That wasn't 2012. That was earlier, but
like also like The Walking Dead, Call of Duty
yeah, like
zombies,
Telltale's Walking Dead, COD
State of
Zombies.
Decay. The Wii U had that weird zombie game.
Yeah, which it's on the PS4 now actually, and was
Is
one
it?
of the I got it with my PlayStation subscription. I haven't played it yet,
That's
but it's
awesome.
just called
Wait, is
Zombie.
that one of the free games? I need to go get that.
It's not this month. This month was Killing Floor 2 though, so you may like that for free.
I got Life is Strange.
Also, Abzu.
Yeah, Abzu was
last
good.
month.
I picked up that one.
I played a little bit of it. It was a very cool looking game. Anyways,
Relax.
get a little off topic.
And then we got Call of Duty.
Yeah, which looks cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually kind of like I'm not necessarily excited for it. Well, I guess I am, but I'm not like excited for it because it's the new Call of Duty, but because this seems like a Call of Duty where they're really trying to change things up. There's no creative class. There's in the campaign at least the health isn't it doesn't you need to get pickups to get health back.
Oh, okay.
That's in the campaign at least.
Yeah. It's weird to me. The multiplayer no creative class seems like a step back. I don't know.
Yeah, like that's like when they first announced that, I was like, but creative class is what makes Call of Duty Call of Duty.
Yeah, like if you can't like min-max your build to be like the best sniper for your montage, like what even are you anymore?
But like it's still gonna. I'm sure that you could still change your guns and stuff like that. But
yeah,
having the different archetypes, to me, it's just nice to see some relevant changes in Call of Duty. To see some
it's interesting.
But the one thing I will say though that is kind of disappointing is I was watching some gameplay of that. Call of Duty is in desperate need of a new engine. Like,
is it?
Desperate. Like it still looks nice, but especially compared to all the 4K stuff we saw at this conference or at E3 this year.
Yeah. Man,
like you can really tell that engine is it desperately need to do like some sort of engine overhaul because it just looks dated. Like it looks like Call of Duty, and Call of Duty doesn't need to look like Call of Duty anymore. And there needs to be some significant changes. But I'm definitely be interested. Like I like the World War II setting. I enjoyed World at War, the last Call of Duty in World War II.
I enjoyed Black Ops 3 quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not related at all, but.
And yeah, and like I'm interested to see where they go with this. I didn't really like what was the last Call of Duty? Infinite
Warfare.
Wasn't really a fan of that.
I still have played very little of it. I own it. But, yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably pick this up if it gets good feedback.
Yeah. Same here.
And yeah, I'm glad to see some changes in Call of Duty, and I hope to see more. Like I hope this succeeds enough to the point where the next developers, which I don't know who is like whatever cycle they do now.
Which one's up next?
Yeah,
last one was Infinity Ward, right? Because nobody else would have called it Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, so the next one has to be Treyarch, right?
Sledgehammer, right?
No, Sledgehammer is doing this one.
Oh, the next one's Treyarch again, yeah. Black Ops 4, get ready.
Maybe, hopefully. Well, that's the other interesting thing is like now that they're at World War II again, like where do they go from here?
Yeah, well, because the Black Ops series and then the Infinite Warfare series have been like totally separate. Like, I think the storylines aren't the same at all.
Yeah, no, they're completely different.
The worlds are different, everything.
And I think Black Ops 3 kind of closed off in a way where it's like they're not.
I would end the Black Ops series there.
No, I would be surprised if the next Call of Duty was Black Ops 4. I would be very surprised if that's what they decide to call it.
For sure.
I'd be more interested to see if it's going to be like future tech, modern tech, or like World War II stuff.
Honestly, let's fight aliens. I'm ready.
I honestly think I would honestly be more interested in like Vietnam, which is like the original Black Ops was kind of like Vietnam, supposed to be like Vietnam, and I enjoyed that. So I want a good Vietnam. I want Call of Duty Vietnam. Like that would be.
They honestly
just call it that. Like that would be, to me, that'd be cool.
I don't think that's out of the question. Like after the last one or this next one being called Call of Duty World War II.
Yeah.
Like
just
naming them after a war.
I think the only thing stopping that is that the next Battlefield was Battlefield Vietnam, but I think that already happened. I think Battlefield definitely, I think,
Wasn't
has a
that
Vietnam.
Battlefield Vietnam was a while ago, I think.
Yeah. But that's not stopping. EA is not opposed to releasing
Yeah.
a game with the same name.
They'll
that they've
just
already
call
done
it
before.
Battlefield Vietnam again. They don't
Yeah,
care.
they
They're
really don't.
dangerous. Yeah.
There needs to be like a
test
law
them.
about that. And then we have Detroit Become Human, which
Yeah.
I think
Still-
that game is very cool looking. Like,
Yeah, it is.
and the idea behind it is neat. But it's almost one of those things.
I have to wait and see.
Yeah, Idea's a lot like Heavy Rain. I never played Heavy Rain, but
Me neither.
one of the thing that comes to mind though, from looking at Detroit Become Human, it's one of those things where it's almost like, man, I wish this was a movie or a TV series, not
Yeah,
necessarily a video game.
I'd totally watch it.
Um,
I'd probably
but-
watch a playthrough of it rather
Yeah,
than get it.
So I heard that like that game is all about like, you know, choices you make and how many different ways you can go about something. So, you know, that could be cool, and it looks
see.
really, really nice. Especially the faces in that game, the way they do the facial animations is
Yeah,
really, really
it's-
cool with that.
Almost as good, I think, as Mass Effect Andromeda.
Jeez, that's awful. That's awful.
Yeah, actually, probably a million times better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those games where I'll probably wait, and when I see gameplay of it by like a YouTuber that I watch, then I might be like, oh, I want to get this for myself.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
for now, it's like it looks cool, but I'm not gonna pre-order. I'm not gonna buy it on launch.
Oh no. And then finally for Sony, we have Insomniac Spider-Man,
Yeah.
which I've heard lots of good things about.
To me, it looks like the best Spider-Man since the one I played from a Kellogg's box, like a cereal box.
Was the last time you played that Spider-Man 2?
I think.
That was the last good one.
No, I think literally the last one I played is Kellogg's Spider-Man. I saw a gameplay for The Amazing Spider-Man. I think that was the most recent one, which looked alright. I didn't play it though. But I think literally the last Spider-Man game I played was one where they gave away the demo in cereal boxes.
I think that was Spider-Man 2. That sounds like Spider-Man 2.
I don't know. It's possible. It was the beginning is all like web slinging, and then you fight a scorpion and rhino.
Was the web slinging really good? Like, was it really good?
Yeah,
Web slinging?
for
that's
being
probably
the
Spider-Man.
year like 2001, probably it was awesome.
Yeah, it's probably Spider-Man 2. And from what I heard, they took a lot from Spider-Man 2, and the web swinging is like physics based, and
Yeah,
it's really, really good. Or it looks like it's going to be really good. And it has Batman style combat.
yeah, it looks like it could be awesome.
So yeah, it's shaping up to be something that looks like could be really cool. And you know, it's been a while since a good Spider-Man game. And
Or at least one that's interested me.
Yeah, and I'm always interested in like they could make a Spider-Man game where all you do is just swing around the city.
Yeah,
I'd play the shit out of that.
yeah,
I totally
I probably
would.
would too.
Like that's Spider-Man 2 was like, I have a lot of memories of that game when I was a kid, and 99% of them are me just swinging around the city.
Yeah. And it was the one I remember, like, you couldn't even see, like, the city streets. You just saw, like, the tops of buildings, and it was, like,
Yeah.
it was, like, a yellowish, like, tan fog.
I'll almost guarantee that is Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. It very much might be. I don't know. But, yeah, that's looking to be one of the first Spider-Man games in, I'll say, 16 years to excite me.
For sure. All right, that wraps up Sony, and we got Bethesda. I didn't really catch anything from Bethesda that really caught my eye. It's mostly VR stuff.
Yeah, and the Dishonored.
Games that I haven't played. Yeah, and Dishonored, which I didn't play. But you got Doom VR here. What do you think about that?
It looked pretty cool. It was weird. It looked like you were like a workman almost, not like a Doom Marine. So we'll see. That could have been just like the way that demo is set up.
Yeah.
But it was like you were like trying to fix stuff, and then like, oh no, here's some demons. So it could be awesome. Like Doom, the new Doom was sick, and it looks like it's graphically the same, except you have floating hands because it's a VR thing. So I don't know how you like will move around and stuff. But
yeah, that's the thing with both this Doom VR and Fallout 4 VR, and I guess Skyrim VR, because how many times can we re-release Skyrim before people get upset?
I on purpose didn't put anything about Skyrim. I skipped over it every time I saw it. Like, I'm upset now. They found the limit.
That's the thing that's really like concerning to me, is like, how are you going to move with all this stuff? Because that's the big question with VR all the time, is like, how is the movement? Will it make me vomit or not?
I played with the Vive. I played Minecraft. Like, there's like a VR mod. I think it's called Vivecraft. And you move with one of the controllers. So you can either teleport around, or you can hold like the trigger on one of the controllers to walk forwards, or to walk in whatever direction you're aiming. And so that was really cool. But I played it for like an hour. Yeah, well, I played it for like an hour, and I was like, I feel fine. This is awesome. I feel so good. I'll never get motion sick. And then I took the headset off, and I was like, wow, my stomach does not feel great.
My stomach did not appreciate that.
I took a shower, and I just thought about how I didn't feel very good. And
so
I got back normal after a little while, but yeah.
So you also got Fallout 4 here, and are you like excited? Like, you don't own a VR headset, right?
No, I have a Vive.
Oh, you have a Vive?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, surprise.
Oh wow, good on you.
It was like my family's, but now I've appropriated it for myself.
Okay.
I'm the only one who.
So
used it.
Are you excited for, like, are you going to get these, or are you like
possibly
going to play through the entire Fallout 4 Doom campaign in VR?
Well, I don't know if they're actually Doom VR. I'm not sure if you actually play through the Doom campaign or not, or if it's. I think
game. Fallout 4. They've said that Fallout 4 is just Fallout 4 in VR.
That's what it looked like, and that I totally would do. That'd be sick.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't play 70-something hours in VR, but I played quite a bit probably.
I mean, this is just my ignorance from never doing any VR stuff, but. It just seems like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this whole let's release like old games in VR.
They're not that old though. They're like a couple years or last
still,
year.
Like, it just seems like cheap cash-ins to me. And
sort of.
I would almost rather have more well thought out, complete VR experiences than. We put this game you like in VR.
So I agree, but there's a few games that I have that I'm like, I want to play this in VR. Like Skyrim, I can also see, Fallout, like I wanted that already.
Yeah, I can also see as like a VR person, someone who has a VR headset, there's not a lot of like amazing things out on them.
Yeah, like,
I can also see how someone would be like, yeah, I want more content there.
I've been in my apartment for about a month now. I still haven't set up my headset because like, you have to find plugs for like the little box that plugs into your computer. Six
USB ports or something like that, right?
Yeah, I need to mount one of the things on the wall. Like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to put screws in the wall here. Like,
yeah.
So unless I find a stand that I can put in that corner, you need like a space. Even if you're sitting down, you need to have those like sensors in the corners of the space. So like, until I get that set up, I just can't really use it. I have it here right next to me, and I want to play like Elite Dangerous and stuff. I think that'd be sick. But
of course,
yeah, it's like a thing that's annoying to set up. Whereas I can just sit down and play a regular game.
Yeah,
I don't have to like
Now the thing, like, to me is like the interesting thing will be is like how will you move and stuff like that, because that's always the question about VR stuff is will you vomit or not? And I guess we'll see.
I haven't yet, but I've only been in VR for a long time once. So.
And then you got the Dishonored DLC.
It's actually a standalone.
Standalone, yeah. I was about to say I think it's a standalone because it's just Dishonored: Death of the Outsider.
Yeah, which is I wasn't expecting more Dishonored already.
Yeah, and I think this is cool because the Outsider is the guy who gives you powers, right?
Yeah. He's the dude who, when you're Corvo and you're in that cage at the beginning of Dishonored, he's like, listen, buddy, I'm going to make you a superhero.
I'm going to give you this sick tattoo.
Yeah.
You're going to be awesome.
And it's really interesting. The trailer had Billy Lurk and Dowd from Dishonored 1.
So this is what I was going to ask. Like, do you think this takes place after Dishonored 2 or between 1 and 2 or before 1? Like, where do you think this takes place?
Either after 2 or at the same time as 2, I would guess. I haven't played 2, but as far as I know, the Outsider's still alive. So unless you fail in Dishonored: Death of the Outsider, they have to take place after 2. Also, Billy
Well,
Lurk looks way different than she did in Dishonored 1.
is the outsider alive? Like, do you ever?
Well, the Dishonored lore is really cool because it's like the outsider might literally be like a giant like Leviathan, but he appears to people as this dude with black eyes. So it's really like there's a lot of cool lore and stuff. I don't really know like how much I missed with Dishonored 2 because I haven't even seen a playthrough of it. I know nothing about it really. But in Dishonored 1, there's a lot of ambiguity. Like, who is he? Like,
That's
because I don't think he's a human. But
well, yeah, that's for sure, and that's the thing. Like that's why I think this could be like maybe a prequel. Like is
it can't be a prequel to 1 because the characters in it are characters from the DLC from 1. But one of them now has like a robotic hand and an eye and stuff. So like it can't be before the timeline of 1.
Okay.
It can maybe be before 2. I don't know if these characters appear in 2 or not. I don't think so.
Okay.
And it could also be after 2, I think.
Okay. Well, it's definitely like I played a little bit of Dishonored, and the lore and stuff was what was very interesting about that game.
It's actually, I think it's under $5 now on Steam, Dishonored 1.
Cool.
During the summer sale.
So yeah, this standalone is definitely cool. Like to see like they're touching on something like that is a big part of the story.
Yeah, a big part of the lore, like
yeah,
because Dishonored 1 did a great job of setting up an interesting world where like I want to know more about the lore.
Yeah,
and I think most players do. And then I don't know how well Dishonored 2 delivered on expanding that. I think it did a good job, but again, I don't really know. And this seems like it's filling out like a cool part that I know nothing about.
So, and then now that's the wrap stuff for Bethesda. They didn't really have a whole lot besides
it was kind of short
VR stuff for existing games, and yes, look, surprise, we're releasing Skyrim.
Yeah, no new Fallout, no new Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. Well, I think the Elder Scrolls, like they just put out an expansion for that, right?
Well, Elder Scrolls single player
online.
Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I guess now to wrap it up, we got Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which is also very short. They only had like 30 minutes of stuff. I guess the biggest thing from that was the new Metroid Prime,
which I think we only saw like a title.
Like 20, only a title, like 20 seconds. It was just a title
and a little bit of noise.
Yeah. But that came out. Like, nobody expected that.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like for the longest time, people thought Metroid was just kind of dead.
It's done. Yeah.
And I never played. I played one of the. I can't remember which one. I think it might have been 3. A little bit of Metroid Prime 3. I don't have a lot of memory of it, but I do remember like thinking this is cool, and I like the Metroid world. I think it's a very interesting setup and stuff. And
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. I think it's a super interesting world. I thought it was. I don't know if I still feel this way, but I remember thinking I felt like it was wasted on like side scrollers to have a world this interesting, and then like the games are just 2D. Because I remember I played like a handheld one a while back, like at a Walmart or something, like where they'd have like the demo set up, and a while back being like probably 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, probably not 15, probably like 10 years ago. But yeah, so I don't. The world is really cool though. I remember in Super Smash, I think Super Smash Bros. Melee or Brawl, you could get like trophies from the different worlds.
Yeah.
I remember reading like the lore stuff on the Metroid ones, and I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But I would love to play like a game in the Metroid world that was like
first person or third person.
Yeah, but like some sort of 3-dimensional game.
Yeah.
Where you could go around and explore and learn about this stuff.
Well, they also announced, like, not in their conference. Well, they don't really do conferences, but not in their initial stream. They announced another site, like a 2D one, that's coming out soon. So they got that Metroid Prime 4, and then this other one, Metroid something.
Huh.
I think it's a remake, actually. It's a remake of Metroid 2 or something like that. But so they got crowd pleasers. They got one for everyone.
Yeah.
But they didn't put any release date on this, so who knows when this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's literally just an announcement.
They literally just put a title card there, and we're like, "Yep,
Yeah.
that's it."
No gameplay, no art, nothing.
And then to me, the second biggest thing, which is really it wasn't really surprising, but it was surprising to see it announced, especially announced without any sort of title or anything. But they announced like a mainline Pokemon game coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy because I Pokemon, and that gives me another reason to get a Switch. And I'm happy that like I when the Switch got announced, I was kind of happy that Nintendo is going all in on one device and not doing the whole console and handheld.
Yeah, they're not releasing another new DS or anything.
Yeah, and no, Nintendo will deny it through and through. They're still saying like, yes, we're committing to the 3DS for a while. But I really think this indicates that like the Switch is their console, like the one and only console. And and it'll be cool to see a Pokemon game. Like the newest Pokemon games on the 3DS are really awesome because they're fully 3D and there's no sprites. It's all 3D models.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool when Pokemon made that transition. But so it'll be even nicer now to see like Pokemon on hardware that isn't terrible. Yeah. I'm not saying the 3DS is terrible, but like it is a handheld.
Yeah,
like strictly a handheld.
Totally, it's fine for like Fire Emblem games and like main Pokemon games and stuff. But like if you want to play a cool 3D game, like it kind of sucks.
Right? Yeah, and to me though, like the Switch is just powerful enough to be like it'll just be interesting to see how they go about this, and like it'd be cool to see like we have a Pokemon game on a, I'm not going to say beefy, but somewhat like powerful device, and I hope they do some cool stuff with that. I hope it doesn't just look like the models from the 3DS, because while those models do look cool for being 3D and stuff like that, just from the fact that before X and Y, all Pokemon games were sprites.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not just those same like crappy models. Like the one thing I didn't think about the X and Y and other Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire or whatever, is that they anti-aliasing on the Pokemon games on those. It's just awful. It is awful.
Anti-aliasing on the DS in general. It's just when you're using the 3D stuff, it's garbage. You're playing like with actual saws. Everything. Yeah.
You might as well be playing like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, really zoomed out Minecraft.
Yeah,
but not that zoomed out that it looks smooth.
So I'm hoping that like with this new with the better hardware, they can do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a little crappy that they said was like, yeah, there's a mainline Pokemon game coming to the Switch. They didn't say like what it was called or anything beyond that.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, to me, it indicates that Nintendo's going all in on the Switch, and that gives me more of a reason to want to get a Switch.
Yeah, it gives a new reason to get it over just Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, because previously, I would only like Nintendo stuff, or like I would only look at Nintendo hardware for Pokemon and Zelda.
Yeah.
And like Zelda's not really the biggest system seller. For me at least. I would love to play Breath of the Wild, but I'm not shelling out $300 for it.
Right.
But like, now that there's a Pokemon, Zelda, and the others, like, and now and Super Mario Odyssey, which we'll talk about in a minute, like this gives it just like it's building a more of a better case for me to get a Switch. And I really want a Switch. Like it's $250, and that thing looks like I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Yeah.
And then now we got Super Mario Odyssey, which I haven't played a Mario game like a Super Mario game since Galaxy, and this one just looks so bizarre.
I don't know.
I just really want to play it. Like you can throw your hat at something and just possess it. And not only that, like there's a human world in this game called New Donk City with people in it, and they don't look like Mario. And Mario can possess them with his hat.
And then they look like Mario.
So what does that make Mario?
He's a weird space monster. I don't know.
It's so
weird
and bizarre. And
that is a really interesting thing, yeah.
Yeah, I want like if I would probably only get it if I had a Switch, and like I'm not gonna get a Switch for it, but like if I had a Switch, I would probably pick it up just because that like Mario is always a fun game.
Right.
I like the last time I remember having a good time playing Mario like was Sunshine on the GameCube. I love that game. And so it'll be nice to like play a Mario game that's I don't know, Galaxy just like wasn't very like it just didn't do enough like crazy things, or it just wasn't like my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So Super Mario Odyssey looks like it's strange and crazy to just be like, yeah, this will be fun. Like
I hope halfway through it turns into Mario versus Rabbids XCOM. And like it's just really, and you have to play like 3 levels of that before you get back to the regular
game. That'd be bizarre. And then you got the Fire Emblem Warriors on here. Is that Dynasty Warriors?
It looks like a Dynasty Warriors type game with Fire Emblem Heroes, which I am all about.
You're a big Fire Emblem fan and a Dynasty Warriors.
I'm not. Yeah, I like the style of Dynasty Warriors. I've never gotten into it because I don't know the characters. I don't care about any of the characters in Dynasty Warriors games. But like the Zelda or Hyrule Warriors. Again, I didn't get it because I didn't have a Wii U.
Yeah.
But I watched gameplay of it and holy shit, I want to.
Yeah, the whole like fighting a million dudes at once is cool.
Yeah. Too. And as like characters that you actually know, and it's fun to see them like interact in different ways and stuff.
Yeah.
So with Fire Emblem Heroes, like I will, if I get a Switch, I'm getting that game like first thing.
Cool. I've never gotten into Fire Emblem. It's just one of those games that like I'm not a big. I don't know. How would you describe turn-based strategy?
It's a turn-based strategy, I would say.
I've just never gotten into them.
I can't even explain why I like Fire Emblem so much. It's like there's so many characters, and even if there's like some lame ones, there's a lot of cool characters, and like depending on the game, you can like match people off, so you have them like work with each other enough, and then they like they become best friends, they get married or whatever. And in like the most recent one I have, I think it's Fire Emblem Awakening. I'm not sure which one it is. It's been a little while. You get characters come back from the future, or you get characters who come back from the future, who are the children of characters that you have in the first part of the game. But it changes who those children are depending on who you've like paired off. So like it changes their hair color, or changes their name, or what they look like a little bit.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Cool. Yeah. But like Fire Emblem's a series where like I haven't played the 2 most recent ones, Conquest or the other one. But like when they came out, I got the one before them.
Yeah.
But it's one of those series where I remember playing a bunch of them on like the Game Boy Advanced and the GameCube.
Yeah.
And like I play those games like intensely for like a year, and then I take like a few years off.
I got you.
So yeah, I'm excited though to see those characters because I recognize a lot of them just from the trailer. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then we got the expansion pass for Zelda.
Yeah.
Which I guess the first one is just like new shrines or new shrines, and there's like a new map feature. But then the second half of the DLC has something to do with Princess Zelda, and
it actually looked like a story DLC.
Yeah, which is cool. I've heard again, we don't have a Switch. We haven't played Breath of the Wild as much as I would love to. So I can only guess that like more content for that game would be awesome. And like that game, man, I wish I had $300 to shell out for it.
Right.
Because I've heard nothing but amazing things about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I've noticed from watching people play it, and I've heard as like a minor gripe, is weapon durability. And like watching people play it, I feel like that'd be super annoying. Like having. Go ahead.
Yeah. I've heard that like at some point, it's not so much the weapon durability; it's the inventory management that comes along with it.
Yeah, because like you shouldn't have to carry like 10 swords because they break in 3 hits. Like that's stupid. I don't know.
And that's the one thing. Like it was the one thing when they announced that Zelda was going to have it. It was like, man, Zelda is not like that's the one game where like, dude, like having a durability meter on my Master Sword, which I know I'm like 99% sure that the Master Sword does not have durability on it.
It does have durability on it,
but it doesn't break, right? Like it doesn't.
No, it does. The durability, it has more durability than I think anything else, but it can run out, but you can like refill the durability on
Yeah.
it. Whereas other things, you just like they break and they're gone.
But that's the thing. Like that's
But
man,
it's
it's just
still
like it just
dumb.
feels wrong. It just
Yeah,
feels like that shouldn't be the case.
if you
And I
get
can
the
get why
Master
they did it.
Sword, yeah, because they want you to still switch weapons and stuff. But like, I don't
Yeah,
want to
and
switch
also
weapons at this point in the game.
yeah, and also like they're trying something new and they're which is good. Again, I'm always a fan of like innovation in the
Yeah,
industry.
but that doesn't mean I
Um,
can excuse an annoying mechanic.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's cool that the when they announced the first half of that DLC, it seemed like man that DLC isn't going to be all that great. But it seems like the
Yeah,
second half, having some more story content is pretty nice. And I think it's only $20 like for
yeah.
both of them.
Is it also, to my knowledge, it's the first time like a console Zelda game has gotten any kind of expansion or
I
DLC.
believe so. Like I'm pretty sure on that. I don't think I know almost any time Nintendo has done DLC.
Yeah, I don't know about Skyward Sword or anything, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Skyward Sword I don't think had any sort of DLC.
I know for sure Twilight Princess did not,
Yeah, I don't
because there
think.
was no way a GameCube era game would get
Yeah,
DLC.
so I don't think any of the DS ones did or any of that. So this
Yeah.
is it's interesting to see how it'll turn out. And in the fact that it's only $20, that's can't really beat that. For
Unless
like
it's a
for,
tiny little
I mean,
thing, yeah.
even then, like it's $20 for both of them. Like it's you have to buy both of them. You can't just buy
Yeah.
one or the other.
No, I'm
I
saying if the
think
story thing is like literally like one cutscene, then like
yeah. Oh, that would
be
be awful.
yeah.
And you know Nintendo, they might actually do that because Nintendo is always a wild card when it
You
comes
don't know what
to
they're gonna do.
yeah. You really don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, and I think that's the end of our list.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on E3?
I mean, overall, I'd start off being kind of underwhelmed by E3 this year. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there haven't been a bunch of groundbreaking announcements where I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my god, that game, oh that
yeah,
game. But I was pleasantly surprised by some stuff, like Anthem, that was out of nowhere. That's
yeah.
cool. Games I was already excited for look even better, like Battlefront 2 and Shadow of War.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's a bunch of other games that are like, I'm quietly like, they look like they might be good, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think I have a lot of similar feelings. Like I think one thing is for certain is there's a lot of good games. Like
yeah.
there's
I think
for everybody. For everybody, there's not like any type of game you may be interested in. There is something for you.
less so than last year for well, not for games for everybody, but for me in particular, less games than last year that I'm really excited for. I remember last year being a really big year. Like there was a couple months at the end of the year where everything was coming out.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I don't know. I think maybe this might be because of the reason like we drew up a list this time, but I remember last year. I remember the biggest takeaway from the E3 was like the E3 itself with like the EA
oh my
presentations
god, the
and
game
all that
premiere,
crazy stuff.
all the
But like
rappers playing Battlefield.
yeah,
That
Snoop
was
Dogg smoking a blunt on the thing. I even heard that this year EA had like a bunch of signs at their event saying "Please don't smoke weed."
it's not okay here. But they didn't
But
have
like
like a big sponsored thing like that, did they?
no, I don't. They had more. They had a lot of influencers.
A lot of
Uh,
influencers. Oh my god, that was a big takeaway last year. Influencers.
then that's still a big thing now. Like they even had like some influencer present a game at one of the conferences, which
Dude, I
thought was
saw
weird.
the PC gaming conference, which was overall super underwhelming because it was all like, I don't like to hate on indie games, but there's a lot of indie games I don't care about.
Yeah.
But it was a PC gaming conference and it was hosted by Day 9, which I didn't even know until I clicked on it and I was like, what's happening here? I mean, Day 9's awesome. I'm glad that he was hosting it, but I
Yeah.
did not expect it at all.
But yeah, but I just feel like last year my biggest takeaway from E3 was about like E3 itself, but this time it's like my biggest takeaway is like there's good games. Like
There's a lot of games, yeah.
There's a lot of games that I'm not only excited for, But there's just like a lot of stuff to like. I feel like there's not going to be a lot of dry periods from now until early next year.
A lot of games scheduled for the beginning of the year next year.
Yeah, and a lot of games coming out this fall. Like there's some good games coming out this fall.
A lot this fall and first quarter next year, and a lot of those will probably get delayed till second quarter next year.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up for us. That's been our like E3 mega cast now.
Yeah,
like
this is
a long one,
almost twice as long as our previous longest podcast.
So I hope you guys stick around, and we'll be back.
If you didn't stick around, sorry, continue.
Well, we'll be back whenever we decide to do another one of these, which could be anytime.
Yeah, and if you didn't stick around till the end, I'm just gonna say it, you're trash. All right, and don't come back next time. And you won't hear this because you didn't stick around. Yeah. So that's what I think.
True. I mean, you're not wrong. So that's us signing out. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you very
much. A good rest of the summer and day, and happy birthday to anyone whose birthday it is. And
on either this day we're recording, June 26th,
or this day this airs,
or the day this airs, July
something.
We'll add it in post. The day this airs, July. Yeah, that's the one.
All right. See you later, Jake. Thanks for everything.
Later. Yeah, and thanks for everybody for sticking around this long. All right, that's it.